Good. Josh will tell me to turn it up. Dude. Testing 1, 2, 3. Still sounds gassed.
Yep.
Yeah? I got nothing today.
Wow.
In partnership with 97.3 ESPN brings you the Mays and Aton Show. Middays with Harry Mays and Aton Shander. Now it's the Midday Show with Harry Mays and Aton Shander on 97.3 ESPN Radio.
Well, we've got a fight to talk about. One of the most historic things that you'll never see repeated in sports that we witnessed, and it was an amazing thing. Not only was it lucrative for the two of us, but it was an amazing thing to watch. And then, of course, I think there's actually some value tonight in watching a football game. And we'll start, I guess, right, to look into the NFL schedule. What do we normally do on Thursdays?
Yeah, we start looking at the Eagles' next opponent, and we're gonna, trying to run
we'll
down
do that
some
at 1
guests.
o'clock. Yes, we do have a guy at 1 o'clock. Shane Riordan's going to join us at 1. He's out there, 670 to score.
Okay.
He's great. He's a funny dude. He's got a cooking show as well. So that's Zach.
Yeah,
So
Zach
Zach's
Berman
in.
just got back to me.
All right, nice. Now, of course,
All right.
BLG is going to get back to me too.
We'll
so
just text him and say maybe we can get him tomorrow or something, or next week.
I'm going to text him for tomorrow.
Yeah, we don't want to double book, but we'll get Zach Berman from the Athletic at 12:30, and we'll start diving into this Eagles stuff. But we got to talk about last night, because last night in sports, television was freaking great last night.
Well, let's start with the fight, okay?
Yes.
Because that was the listen. That game was over, and I don't know who in their right mind jumped in at the Wolves plus 7.5, but the Sixers were just so much better than the Wolves in one area, which is Minnesota hadn't played this season anybody that was that long,
Right.
that could frustrate these guards.
Well,
like
there are
Jeff
few
Teague.
teams that are that long as the
Correct.
Sixers. I mean, that's one of the real big advantages that they're going to have going forward is how they defend on the perimeter. And teams, you saw the first night against the Celtics.
Yep.
Their prize acquisition in the offseason was having a tough time
Absolutely.
on the perimeter.
No, I understand.
You know?
Yes,
And
you're
that's-
talking about Kemba Walker.
Kemba Walker, right?
Correct.
I think he was miserable. He had a miserable night, and he couldn't deal with the length.
No, I understand.
So-
And now what you saw, I think, manifest was just that clamp that they put down. The game was over. The game was never in question. The over-under was never in question. The Sixers put the clamps on them like they will for a lot of teams.
Well, it was over it was midway through the third quarter, if I remember, and I think they were up 20 points, somewhere around there.
Yes.
And I was thinking, well, they better throw both of these guys out, because if they just throw Embiid out, this
Then
could
you're
be a
worried about
game.
something?
This could be a game. Yeah.
Then you're worried about something.
Well, exactly. So
Right.
I'm watching, them look at the replays, and the officials were over there at the monitors, and everybody in the arena is looking up at the brand new scoreboard, which was showing all this stuff, and everybody's having a great time.
Yes.
It seemed like I wish I was there last night.
Well, that was definitely the moment where you will want to be in the stadium, in the arena down there. And the fight itself, now look, nobody's going to throw hands per se, but at the same time, if people are worried about not throwing hands as a result of a suspension or you're going to get in trouble, understand that the most trouble you'll probably get in is what Joel Embiid did after. I would imagine there's going to be some sort of reprimand or some sort of suspension that comes down from the NBA.
Yeah, probably.
Because of what he tweeted. after.
Yeah, see, that's what I wish he would do.
Well,
I wish the president wouldn't tweet, and I wish Joel Embiid wouldn't tweet stuff like this.
Right.
It's just, the second tweet.
I'm glad you're an equal opportunist.
Well,
guy.
yeah, the most recent tweet is the one that really annoyed me, which is that tough guy act ain't cutting it. You all know what you are. You know what you've always been. A P. Say it loud for the people in the back. Been kicking your ass, and please make the playoffs before you talk. It's a known thing that I own you. Now, that's a great blast if it's coming from a fan and stuff like that, but he shouldn't be doing that.
I get it. And I think this is, look, it's not as simple of a conversation as I think people will make it for the purposes of lowest common denominator sports talk radio, which this, God bless, is not.
No, it's not.
But I think you have to look at it and think these two guys do clearly despise each other. Like, this is Larry Bird, Dr. J hate.
And that's okay.
Exactly.
I like that.
And I'm not saying, no, listen, you and I are just having the conversation.
Right.
I'm not saying that you don't. All I'm saying is, for people out there who may think, like, oh, this is BS, this is as close to a throwback hatred as you'll get.
This reminds you, like, more recently of, like, maybe what some of those players in the late 80s thought of Bill Lane Beer.
Right.
You know, the Pistons teams. You know, like you said, Bird and Magic were friends.
Dr. J.
Dr. J and Larry Bird were enemies.
Right.
They got into it, too. I love that stuff every now and then mixed in with my basketball. That's okay, but you didn't have social media back then.
Correct.
You know
And I think social media, and that's, I think, what's interesting about all of this. Look, we've all seen fights in the NBA. This was not new. This was not a new thing in the NBA, and I don't think this opens up like, oh, what are your top 5 fights ever in the NBA?
This was a wrestling match.
It was a wrestling match, for sure. I think what's interesting is it's not just people that you think like the, Schweimer get off my lawn segment.
Right.
I'm going to read you a tweet from somebody who's currently playing in the NBA who had an issue with what Joel Embiid tweeted afterwards. And it's not even so much, did you out there, 609-403-0973, if you watch all the different platforms, we'll get to that in a second. It's not so much like a question if you had a problem with it, but I'm more curious about how social media and how now, which is clearly something that these kids are immersed in, plays a role in stuff like this, rivalries, because if done right, I think it furthers it.
Yeah.
But you also, real quick, Harry, the one thing I don't like, and again, I'm okay with everything so far. I know we disagree a little bit on what he said. I think he's going to get suspended. And it's
I think so too.
That's fine. But the one thing I don't like is you can't. I got to walk around this, but through it. You can't set some sort of measuring stick that's arbitrary because it helps you in this position. Meaning, if you saying make the playoffs then talk, that means you can't talk to anybody who has done more than you. Like, you can't talk to Giannis.
Right.
You can't talk to Van Vliet.
If you're Joel.
Correct.
Right.
Because these guys have gone further than you.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm saying. So just be careful. If you're talking, like, it's fun. I get it. And I love the fact that he takes a jab and says, make the playoffs before you talk to me. But all I'm saying, Harry, is...
Yeah, how many rings does he have?
Yeah,
you know
yes.
what I mean?
Like, now you've set a bar or a ceiling where it's tough to kind of climb over.
Exactly. I totally agree with you. And that's one of the reasons why the second tweet he shouldn't have done. The first one I was okay with. Great team win. I was raised around lions and a cat pulled off on me tonight. LMAO. It's kind of funny. And he got his mama giving middle fingers left and right. That's some serious real estate. I mean, I was okay with that one. Just end it there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Now, there were two things that you might have missed from this. One just happened about an hour ago.
Okay.
The other happened while it was going on. And I felt like this person probably represented me more than anybody else. Like, if you could pick one person that represented you on the couch watching this fight, you had Mike Scott on the bench, somebody, a tag team partner in a wrestling match.
He would be a great tag team partner.
He's the best.
Right.
There's no better tag team. You're in a fight and you need to tag out on the bench. I don't want anybody else but Mike Scott right there.
Now I know why John Chaney fell in love with him so much when he was in high school and tried to get him to Temple.
Well, to be, would he have replaced or preceded Nehemiah Ingram, the ultimate?
I think
poor kid.
I don't know if they would have crossed over or not.
Okay.
He was a good kid too.
I know that's it. And he'll always go down as that just following orders guy. No, but I think Al Horford. Did you see this?
No.
Oh my goodness. This was me last night, and it was cool. Like I jumped, I sat up, and I was like, oh, a fight, and then I saw the two guys wrestling, and I'm like, eh. But I think this is me in a nutshell right here. Al Horford. Right here on the right side.
He's just standing there with his hands on his hips like, what is this?
And you know what? Like, maybe that was my old man moment. That's fine. Like I said, I didn't have any problem with anything Joel Embiid said except make the playoffs then talk, because now you're setting a bar I don't like.
Yeah.
But I felt like after, I was like, okay, man. Like, all right, it's a wrestling match. How many times have you seen that?
No, I
or
know.
fake fists.
But I'm just saying, part of me was sitting there saying, man, I hope he doesn't get hurt. They fall to the court awkwardly or something, and he twists his knee or his ankle, whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
we saw Steph Curry break his hand.
Exactly, last night. I didn't see it, but I heard about it.
I didn't say it.
And I think they lose to the Phoenix Suns.
Yes.
The Phoenix Suns have now beaten the Clippers and the Golden State Warriors this year.
They're upstart, man.
Yeah.
amazing what they've been able to build fast, and it just shows you that, there are different ways to get to that means. But yeah, they've got a young team, man, for sure.
Got some talent.
Golden State right now is
they're a mess.
way too many injuries.
Yeah, they're a mess.
So you've got the game itself, which I think it's a representation of. Here's the thing. It's 4 games in, 5 games in, 6 games in. They're going to lose a game here or there. That's fine. But the reality is that, and this is what I'm surprised about, and it's not a knock. It's just how the NBA works. When you add some pieces or you lose some pieces, it might take. Usually, it does take a couple of weeks, maybe a month. Yeah.
Yes.
These guys, and I think it's a testament to what Simmons and Embiid, Tobias Harris last year, Brett Brown. I think it's a test. Mike Scott. He clearly is a huge. Emotion guy in that locker room. Ennis, right, yeah. as a leader, or a veteran, I guess. But my point of it is that for somebody like Josh Richardson to come in, a guy like Jimmy Butler to leave, who's a ball-controlled guy, has the ball in his hands a lot, it's a seamless transition. They're significantly better on defense with a bat of the eye, and yeah, you'd like to see them shoot better, but when you're clamping down on teams like you did last night, do you really need to be 20 to 23 from behind 3?
No. You don't need to be that. We just need to be able to, make a couple when they're open. But that's for another night. But yeah, you're right. I mean, what are they calling this? Bully ball?
Yes.
Right now?
Yes.
Okay, we're sort of like going back in time, back to those old Knick teams. Is that what we're seeing?
I can't watch that. So, look,
the Heat and the Knicks in the 90s, remember that?
Yes, I remember 83-79 basketball games.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Not at all.
But how about last night with Houston and the Wizards?
No.
If you scored 158 points in an NBA game, which is like an all-star game type of score, and you lost...
Well,
159, 158.
You talk about throwbacks. That's like more the Wilt era.
That's like the ABA.
Well, yeah, I'm saying like when these guys were playing games, they were going up and down the floor. They were putting up $150.
Right.
I don't know what's happened with this game. We've got a rivalry that goes back to Doc versus Larry. Mm-hmm. We've got the bully ball of the Heat-Knicks rivalry, and you're right, James Harden and Bradley Beal, I think, went for over 110 points.
Well, Harden had 59 himself,
Beal, I think, had 53.
Oh, did he?
Like that.
Okay,
Yeah,
I didn't see
Beal
that.
was the leader for that.
Wow.
My goodness,
But
man.
think about that. You're scoring 158 points in an NBA game, and you lose.
I'm telling
That's
you,
unbelievable.
There was a time where that was the norm. Don't you remember that?
Well, I remember the ABA.
No, this is still like pre-Philadelphia Wilt, I want to say, or maybe it was like this. If you just take a random year,
You're talking like the '60s when there was only like 10 teams.
I'm just saying the pace of the game.
Oh, okay.
Like look at this.
Those white guys ran up and down the court.
Look, man, they're putting up 104. They're putting up 114 a game. They're giving up 112 a game. Like this is in '69. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like if you start,
that's after he left Philly.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He's back with the Lakers. I'm just trying to find the specific era.
Was Gail Goodrich on that team?
Oh yeah, man. They were lighting up.
Jerry West.
Think about this. If you were playing with Wilt Chamberlain, chances are that he was going to score anywhere from 30 to 50 a night.
Right.
So all you need to really do is score like, what are you going to tell me? Like scoring 40 amongst 8 other guys is difficult?
No, that's a piece of cake.
Especially with Gail Goodrich and these other guys. Yeah, Gail Goodrich.
He also grabbed 30 rebounds.
Well, that's the thing. Exactly right, man. That's exactly right. 609-403-0973. That's a great pull. We could get him on.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
Well, I watched him play.
He'd be great.
That's how old I am.
He'd be great. I want to read you this tweet before we get to the text board.
All right.
609-403-0973. Now, this is from @thekidET. Do you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
Why?
I've read a tweet from him in the past.
Correct. Used to play here. E.T. Think E.T.
Yeah, Evan Turner.
Right.
Yeah.
If you get into it with somebody on the court and you still want smoke, then DM that man for a friendly. There's no need for the public stuff.
Oh, so he's saying he just sort of slid into KAT's DMs and maybe ripped him or challenged him to a brawl.
Okay, now here's the thing. I get what Evan Turner is saying, and I understand the mentality.
Don't make it public.
Which is, do your dirt by your lonely, handle your business on your own, whatever phrase or platitude you want to apply to it. I'm fine with it. But here's another thing. These guys are multi-millionaires 5, 10, 50 times over. So you can't just text somebody and say, "Hey man, I'll meet you here," or you tell me where turn on your location,
right.
and I'll come punch you.
Right.
Like that's not going to work for two big celebrities this.
No.
So to Joel Embiid's credit or point, I don't know. How do you handle if you don't like him? How do you handle this? Maybe that does kind of a little justify Harry those tweets, only because he can't go up and physically punch Karl Anthony Towns.
I wait till the next time we play, and I handle him on the court again, just like I always have. I mean,
like Andre Drummond.
Yeah, exactly. Or Hassan Whiteside. Remember when they used to go at it?
Yes. Yes.
You didn't like him either. I like the fact that Joel he has a lot of enemies.
Correct.
But I just don't need any cheap shots coming his way as a result of any nonsense that he's doing on social media either.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
No, I understand.
We need him vertical.
Okay, that's fair.
All
so
right.
you don't want him getting but you don't mind him being in a fight.
Well,
he's more likely to get hurt in a fight.
I know,
than
but I don't
for a tweet.
I don't want that to become the norm either.
Okay.
But every now and then it's kind of fun.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't need him looking to throw down with every big man in the NBA on a nightly basis. That's not what I'm saying.
It is lining up that way. Who is the ultimate villain? Like, who's if you span the history, and I need to find out why. Maybe Josh has some idea, or maybe we just need to get McMullen on for like 15 seconds today. But I saw a tweet from him earlier that WWE stock is going to take a hit today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, who knows why, for some reason. But who is the ultimate, like if you span from the beginning to where we are now, who is the ultimate villain in worldwide, from WWF through WWE where we are now?
The ultimate, you're asking me a wrestling question?
Well, think about it.
Nick Cale?
You go back, we all go back to when it
Yes.
was Hulk Hogan taking on John
I go
Smith
back
in some
before
gold
that.
leotard. Right, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, the ultimate villain?
Remember
ultimate
when
bad
Sergeant
guy.
Slaughter turned? Do you remember that? For some
vaguely.
reason, Sergeant Slaughter backed the Iron Sheik during the Iraqi War.
Yeah.
And I was late to that.
Okay.
And I didn't know that. And I
The
turned
Iron
out.
Sheik was pretty good. He was a great villain.
He was a great villain.
Yeah.
That could
And
be,
he's a great Twitter follower.
He's an amazing Twitter follower. So that could be it, right?
Yeah, maybe the Iron Sheik.
Is Embiid? Well, listen, he's got both going for him. He's got ultra huge villain status, and he's an amazing tweeter.
See, but the thing is I'd rather, as a Sixer fan, have him not be the focal point of it. I'd rather have our own version of Charles Oakley. You know what I mean? Like, to be the protector.
What do you mean?
Because I don't need
You want
Embiid
him- that's Mike
on the
Scott.
front line. Yeah,
Mike
okay.
Scott is Charles Oakley,
Okay.
or Anthony Davis.
Okay.
Mason, pardon me.
Yeah, Anthony Mason.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what you have. I mean, remember that. You talk about an offensive line, Anthony Mason and Charles Oakley.
Right. Yeah, it's sort of like, Marty McSorley was to Wayne Gretzky back in the day. Nobody messed with Wayne Gretzky. They would have loved to, because they knew McSorley's going to knock your teeth out.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
See, I
Who else?
I don't want Embiid to be the
Ty
guy.
Domi, Bob Probert,
Oh, yeah,
somebody
all
like that.
Yeah.
Bob Probert.
Yeah.
All right. Think about that. 609-403-0973 at Harry Mays to you. I'm going to put the tweet out as well, at Shander Show. We're live as well on Periscope, at Harry Mays to you, on Facebook, Eitan Shander, the Derailed YouTube page, as well as, what did I miss? All 4 platforms here, Harry.
Yeah, I can't keep track. But I gotta ask,
Twitch, Mays and Eitan.
I got to ask you this. Because, we talked to Kevin Kincaid yesterday about the Sixers, right?
Correct.
And I brought up Furkan Korkmaz, that
Well,
I've seen enough.
Right.
Do I owe Furkan Korkmaz
No.
a Furkan apology?
No.
No?
No.
Because he went off last night.
Come on.
So you're saying that's not sustainable?
I'm saying he's not on my radar, nor should
He
he
had
be on your
17 points in 22 minutes
So
last
what?
night.
So what? First off, were those minutes of value? I mean, were those tie points that stretch leads?
No, I don't think so. But
No.
when he's on the court, I don't even like looking
I check
at him.
out.
I look at the other 4
Right.
players.
My eyes just start to space.
Yeah.
So what is that term when they go, go in different directions?
Glaze over.
No, there's a specific medical term for
Oh, I
it,
don't know. I
in
have
which
no
they
idea.
displace something like that. I don't know.
But now there's some argument out there as to Ben Simmons' role, which the officials defined as he was the peacemaker
Right.
in the fight.
Right.
But I remember seeing him on top of Towns with a chokehold around his neck.
Yeah.
Where, like, if he would have been a police officer, he'd be called into, for
I'm sure.
internal affairs.
Right. There'd be some sort of investigation
Right.
there.
Exactly.
No, I don't know.
He might get a game too.
I don't know.
Not that it's any huge deal. How many games do you think Embiid gets?
I think Embiid gets 3 games max.
Okay. Do you think Towns gets the same?
Yeah, I think they get the same.
What about Teague, who came in there? He was like the third man in kind of deal in a hockey fight.
He was.
He came in there and grabbed Embiid from the back, right?
Yeah, I don't think, honestly...
Does he get a game?
I don't know. Here's the thing, like the Wolves, if this were the Celtics, if this were the Nets, Boston now beat them with a win last night, mind you, against Milwaukee. It was a pretty big one. If this were a team that I think we care about on the day-to-day...
Yeah, I don't care about these guys.
And I'm not saying, like, my answer is I don't care. I think my answer is more so, like, if Jeff Teague doesn't get suspended, I'm not upset. I honestly don't think Ben Simmons will get suspended either, since they've already ruled him, as erroneously as it sounds, the peacemaker.
Well, Minnesota's arguing with that
Let
fact.
him.
Okay, with the NBA
What are
office.
they going to do there? So
For what it's worth.
At most, he'll get fined, I think, at this point.
And I blanked on the fact that the Timberwolves traded Dario on draft night. Because I'm like, where's Dario? And then I
It was
recall
all about Cove.
that they traded with, I believe, Phoenix, right? He's in Phoenix.
Correct.
And the Timberwolves ended up moving up to the 6th slot and drafted that Jarrett Culver out of Texas Tech.
Who's a pretty good player.
He's a pretty
right?
nice player, yeah.
609-403-0973. Before we get to the World Series coming up, and just here's a sneak preview of where we're at right now in Major League Baseball. Garrett Cole, I'm reading this from Larry Brown, less than an hour after losing the World Series, tells reporters he's no longer an employee of the Astros.
How about that?
While wearing a hat featuring his agent Scott Boris's company logo.
Oh,
He's
God.
gone.
Yeah, of course he is.
Now listen to this text, since it is Halloween. A WTF moment yesterday. Took my kids trick-or-treating. Stopped at a house and this old lady was handing out tiny containers of chili.
What?
I'm reading it verbatim from the text board here.
Chili.
Chili.
It's not even cold enough for chili.
Well, it's raining, you know.
Yeah, but it's not cold. It's mild out. It's not a chilly day.
No?
Not for me. But anyway, go on with the text.
That was it?
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Just
showed up to this woman's house and she handed out these small containers of chili. Is it like those small things you get? Remember Wendy's? You know, Wendy's has that small chili.
Yeah, a little cardboard container, right?
Right.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not a chilly day.
You're out?
Yeah, I'm out on that.
Okay.
It's not really chilly weather.
That's fine. Mike Scott has, this text board here. Mike Scott has a rep. JoJo throwing air punches. Sixers playing the bad boys role a bit. They better be careful.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Well,
they better be careful.
Careful for what, though?
I'm just saying, like, I don't need any ill will coming their way as a result of them. You know, because the teams hated those Pistons teams back in the 80s.
Right.
And they were very physical with them as a result. Like, they wanted a piece.
Oh, no, and
Like,
listen.
Yes. Lane Beer was coming down the lane. Somebody wanted to take him out.
He was going to
I don't need that with Joel Embiid. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Okay.
Listen, that's a fair criticism or valid
concern. It's a concern.
Yes, I think that's a better way to put it. Absolutely. I remember teams from Denver, coached by Doug Moe, used to score in the 140s, 150s all the time. It wasn't the Detroit Pistons with the Adrian Dantley guys.
Adrian Dantley.
Didn't they used to score like in the 130 and 140s?
Well, there was
John there on the text board.
There was back when Mark Macon got drafted in the early 90s. He got drafted by the Denver Nuggets. And they were running this system which was just up and down. I forget who the coach was. I think he might have been the coach at Loyola Marymount too, at one point.
Okay.
I might have that wrong, but
Not
they were just trying to just run up and down the court and just outscore you. It was awful, and it was the worst system for Macon to go into because he wasn't a fast player. Like he was a plodding half-court player.
Is that right?
It was a disaster.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I'll look up who the coach was.
Yeah, I mean these guys were putting up a lot of points, man. 123, 100. No, there's one time though early. You have to go back in like the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it was like early 70s, and they were pushing that ball hard up and down.
Yeah, and there was no three-point line back then either.
Correct.
That's the other thing you got to consider.
That's a great point.
You know, I mean, you know, that was all twos and foul shots. So.
I got it here, man. Just looking randomly at a couple of schedules, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty much where you are now. This is the funny thing about it. The NBA hasn't really changed much, man. You know, like just taking a random day, Tuesday, October 22nd, 1974, looking at the Bullets beat the Kings, 123-121. Braves beat the Jazz, 134-118. You still had some lower scoring games. You know, you had Sixers beat the Knicks, 99-86. But look at all these games in the hundreds. I mean, the Blazers edged the Cavs, 131-129. It's the same thing, man.
Wow.
But you're right, no three-pointer.
Oh, it was Paul Westhead was the coach.
That's a great last
Paul
name.
Westhead. He actually went to St. Joe's.
Westhead?
Yeah, Paul Westhead.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's a great one. One of the best West names ever.
Yeah, now coming up, tickets. We're running down. We just have 2 more days. Actually, only 4 more chances.
That's right.
To qualify to go to Tollman Joe's on Sunday for the Countdown to Kickoff show, 10 to noon. Free parking over there too. But 5 lucky fans are going to get each a pair of tickets at Tollman Joe's to go to Chicago and the Eagles game for free. 609. I always forget the damn phone number. 573-3776. 609-573-3776. Line up on the phones right now and talk to Josh, and we'll qualify 5 more folks.
You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become a villain.
You're listening to the Mays and Aton Show, presented by Dry Guys of South Jersey. Go to dryguysonair.com and get the help you need with your wet basement. dryguysonair.com.
This is the radio home for Philadelphia Eagles football. This Sunday,
It's amazing, man.
Eagles are back at the link hosting the Chicago Bears.
I just don't understand how.
He's got his money. Countdown to kickoff coverage begins at 10 a.m. with Tony Bruno, Marilyn Mike call all the action starting at 1 p.m. This is where the Eagles play. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's Eagles station.
Yeah, he did coach Loyola Marymount. I was right.
Look at experience. We've got 30 years under the same name. Very unusual in this business. Look at their strengths. We excel at indoor projects like kitchens and baths, outdoor projects like siding, windows, and doors, even entire additions. We've introduced products for national manufacturers and won awards for our work. Look at who does the work. With VSP, the owner and the foreman of 23 years are always part of the team. Look for fair terms. VSP asks for no more money down than the law allows in this area. Our pricing is never the lowest and usually not the highest. We deliver great value for the money. Looking for a home improvement contractor who will produce what they promise? Look to VSP Home Improvement.
Yeah.
Call Kevin Kennedy at 215.
Aside from Firm and next, any guests today?
Yeah. I'm gonna give this guy's number.
I
I barely hear you. Did you jump on mic real quick?
This football season, visit the Great American Pub.
Yeah,
You'll find good food, great times,
Shane
and good football. Any way you like.
Riordan.
All comes together
R-O-R.
at the Great American Pub.
Riordan, yeah.
Name any of the 3 Great American Pub locations in Conshohocken,
You ready?
Wayne, and Phoenixville. Go to
It's spelled Riordan. R-I-O-R-D-A-N. Riordan.
Great times and good football mean
312-729-3905. 3905. It's his office line.
Run a business in Pennsylvania.
What time we getting in?
1.
You're familiar with workers' comp insurance. Do you know Pennsylvania and New Jersey
Anything else?
have dropped?
Just Zach.
Let Lighthouse Commercial
Yeah, I got Zach for you.
Yep.
take
Thanks,
full
man.
advantage of the change. With 25 years of experience in the market, they know the most reputable and the most aggressive carriers. Give my friend Kevin a call at 800-691-1686. That's 800-691-1686. Or visit them online at lighthouse.ins.biz.
This season, the Eagles pregame starts at Dunkin'. DD Perks members score a $1 medium hot or iced coffee on Eagles game day. So don't just celebrate the Eagles
Wow,
from the
Dom's out.
sidelines. Head to Dunkin' and get a kick before the kickoff. Plus, DD
Dom
Perks members get
Costantino.
a $1 medium hot or
He's a
iced
local
coffee.
guy who wrote for Deadspin.
Every Eagles win
Well, that
this season,
McQuaid guy
you
quit.
can
Yeah,
roll
yeah.
Dunkin' card or show your loyalty
I think that whole thing might go
Eagles
down.
fans run
Makes
on
sense.
Caring is helpful
infinitely
when you
more
invest,
entertaining
and sometimes
and
that means
listenable
giving you more
than
control
hearing
over your
guys come out
decisions.
for 5
The
minutes
Care
doing
Cost Estimator from
half-hearted
Independence Blue
take
Cross
on
helps you make the choices that are right for you.
Just
It's
like
just one more way we are helping members throughout
I can't even listen to that shit.
better,
It's just
more
jockeying,
informed
right?
healthcare choices.
Saying something to get people, and then they do the work for you. That people respond to calls,
Independence Blue Cross. Learn more at IBX.com.
and it's all around too.
Yeah.
Everyone wants hot water. Depends
It's an
on the
epidemic.
prices. Choose Emax tankless electric water heaters. America's #1 tankless electric
It's crazy. Like I'll listen to,
hot water. Contractors
and it's just ingrained.
clients that can provide dependable hot water for commercial kitchens to office buildings and high-tech manufacturers. Contractors choose Emax. Emax is evolving hot water. Find Emax at distributors or online at emax.com. That's EMAX.com. Tollman Jones in the heart of South Philly is Tony Bruno's home on Eagles game day. And for those of you in Cape May County, Tollman Jones in Wildwood is your football home every week in September. Tollman Jones, where wins were created, wins were perfected, and where your football Sunday is set to begin this Sunday and every Eagles game day. Get to Tollman Jones. Join me, Tony Bruno. I'll see you on game day at Tollman Jones.
You're in charge of hiring, and Indeed has solutions, like online skills tests, which let a candidate show that they're the right hire. We'll also have a dolphin chatter excitedly. I got burgers at home. Okay, there's no dolphin.
It's amazing.
But skills tests, that's for sure. See why independent research shows Indeed delivers 3 times more hires than any other.
Certain tweets, it doesn't matter. I can tweet them at the same time, different days,
Terms, conditions, and exclusions
and
apply.
what gets seen versus what doesn't. It's ridiculous.
More ways to get the most out of your ride, no matter the road. Our free AutoZone Fix Finder service not only identifies your check engine light color, but also troubleshoots the likely cause of your check engine light for free, helping you save time and money. Looking to drive with better fuel economy? Right now, get 2 bottles
Sick of
of
that
C4
noise up there.
concentrated fuel injector cleaner
Yeah,
for
it's
just
pretty bad.
$8. Visit us at AutoZone.com and start your job fast. Restrictions apply.
You're listening to Mays and Aton with Harry Mays and Aton Shander on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app.
All right, we are going to head out to the Lighthouse Insurance Guest Hotline in a sec. But before that, we've got a very important thing to do, Harry, because time is running out. Tollman Jones,
Yes.
hosting an amazing event this Sunday.
This Sunday, 10 to noon, Tony Bruno and the whole gang will be out there. Free parking, too. And at the Countdown to Kickoff show, 5 lucky fans will each get a pair of tickets to the game. Bears, Eagles, and shuttled over there. You get a shuttle ride over. You can park there for free. 609-573-3776. 609-573-3776. All right, now we go to the Lighthouse Insurance guest line and bring up one of our pals who's kind enough to come on the show pretty much whenever we ask, if he's not already in the locker room doing his job. The great Zach Berman from The Athletic. Follow him on Twitter, @ZBerm. Sign up for The Athletic, too. It's great. And Zach, welcome to the show, man. How are you today?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, good to have you, man. I got to ask you, you were up there at Buffalo last week. You know, you witnessed the running attack where they just did what Andy Reid years ago wouldn't have done. Even in high winds, Andy Reid would have thrown it. I think he did that one time out in Cincinnati, if I remember correctly, in a windstorm. Doug Peterson learned something and said, "We're going to run the football," and they just took apart Buffalo. Now, was that a season-defining type of win? Does this send the Eagles in an upward direction, in your view?
Well, it was when they needed it. Now, whether this turns into a season-defining win and kind of changes the season, I think we'll saw a lot on Sunday against the Bears. If they beat the Bears, they're 5-4 going into the bye. It's a much different situation than 4-5 going into the bye with New England and Seattle thereafter. Certainly, though, the only way to get them to 5-4 is by getting 4. And they needed that win in Buffalo. I think the win had more to do with the way they ran than anything else, or I should say how much they ran. But it is noteworthy that their 2 best wins this year, at Green Bay and at Buffalo, were run-heavy approaches, and they asked Carson Wentz, I don't want to say to be a game manager, but not to kind of carry the team with his arm. It's a much different approach than I think the Eagles thought they would have going into the season. It's a much different approach than you typically have when you have a $100 million quarterback. But I think it's the best approach for the way this roster is constructed at the moment.
Wow. I wonder, moving forward, what you can take from that game against the Bears, against the Bills, and think it can carry over against this Bears defense or Bears offense, whatever they did successfully on D, Zach.
Yeah, I think what you can carry over on the offensive side is that you can win at the line of scrimmage, even against a tough defensive line. Now, the Bears would typically have a better defensive line than the Bills, but without a King Hicks in the middle, I think they're more vulnerable than you probably would think in the middle of the line, and I think the Eagles are going to run a lot this weekend. On the other side of the ball, I guess similar to the Bills, the Bears don't have a quarterback who's going to beat you himself. So I think the approach is going to be similar. Stop the run, kind of protect yourself deep, trust that your corners are going to tackle, and limit those big plays. And they need to do a better job getting off the field on 3rd and long. That was a weakness last week. But outside of that, I thought the defense played well. The Bills converted 6 third downs, I believe, 5 of which were of 8 yards and longer.
Yeah.
If you can do better on 3rd and long, then that's a really good game for this defense. So
Yeah, that quarterback isn't converting them, right?
Yeah, Trubisky's not converting those.
Yeah, so I would be encouraged by the way the Eagles look going into this weekend beat.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, the Bills converted a bunch of those 3rd and longs on their second touchdown drive in the 3rd quarter. I remember like a 3rd and 8, maybe a 3rd and 12 too, and some of that was due to the running of their quarterback, which, Trubisky's somewhat similar in that respect, where he can get out of the pocket and move on you and maybe move chains. But I think they're very similar. You bring up a great point. These are very similar teams in that their defense is really the hallmark, and their offenses, are limited to be kind.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And, that's going to be the way to beat them. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game, but right. I don't think the Bears have the firepower to really push the Eagles.
All right, so looking at this game specifically with the backdrop, knowing that the Eagles want to get Deshaun Jackson back as fast as humanly possible, do you think that they rush him back this weekend, or is it just, let's just get to the bye and he's good during that 2-game stretch of the Patriots and Seahawks?
Yeah, great question. I can understand the argument on both sides. Now, you can say give him 2 weeks to rest, get him back to the Patriots. But if you don't beat the Bears, then, like I said earlier, it's a much different situation being 4 and 5. If you think he can play, you want him to play. Now, he was out of practice yesterday. He's going to be at practicing, they practiced about 40 minutes. So I'll see what they look like today. But there's some optimism in this building that he's going to play. And so I certainly wouldn't rule that out.
What exactly was the injury? I know it's an abdomen.
It's more optimistic than I thought it was.
Yeah, I know. I think so too. Was it some sort of sports hernia type deal?
When you hear abdomen, that's what you usually think of. I don't think they're not using that term, so I don't want to label it that. But by description, it sounds somewhat similar. All I know is that it's an abdomen injury that's really expensive. It happened in week 2. We're in week 9 right now. He's already missed, 16, clearly 17 left in the 1st quarter. So you're talking about almost half the season.
Yeah.
And I think when you signed Deshaun Jackson, you realized it probably wasn't going to be 16 games, but for it to be half the season, that's really hamstrung the offense.
Now, is this the kind of injury that could make because Deshaun Jackson, we all know, brings a certain skill set that few have in the NFL. Is he going to be? Are they going to be bringing him back where he's 100% and he can still be, blazing Deshaun Jackson, or do you think this is going to impact the way he plays?
I can't say that authoritatively. I don't know if he'll be at 100%, but if he's good enough to run fast on the sideline, that's what the Eagles need right now.
Right.
What happens when you? I know it's a little difficult to predict because game flow changes everything. But going into this game specifically, everybody's jacked up, Zach, after what happened last week on the ground, over 200 yards combined rushing. Do you think that there's a split approach? Do you think they'll go heavy with Jordan Howard to soften him up, or maybe the nostalgic factor, or Miles Sanders now getting to share the workload?
Yeah, I think Miles Sanders I think Jordan Howard's going to get the most carries. I think you'll see that go forward. He's been really productive. I think that they like the way he runs. But Miles Sanders, as long as he's healthy, he's battling the shoulder right now. From my understanding, he'll be okay. He can get a lot of snaps, and you'll see him mixed in the running game and heavy work in the passing game.
Yeah.
When you look at the carries at the end of the game, Jordan Howard will get the most.
How surprised were you, Zach, that Howie Roseman didn't pull off another deal on at the deadline? I know they got Avery from the Browns, who's a pass rusher. But according to the people that you talked to, who were they closest to maybe acquiring that they didn't?
Yeah, I was not shocked that they didn't make a deal. First off, you didn't see many deals go down.
Right.
I think that part of this was the Eagles learning from last year. I don't want to say they misevaluated their situation last year, but they were not one wide receiver away last season, and that's a third-round pick they really could have used. I think that internally they look at a lot of the players coming back, in particular Deshaun at wide receiver, and then at corner, Jalen Mills, Ronald Darby, they're getting Avonte Maddox back this week, Trayvon Blunt at some point. I think they're hoping that gives them the reinforcement. Defensive line is a position that I think they would have liked to address. They did address it, obviously, adding Avery. That's not a defensive tackle. I think they can bounce some of their ends inside. I think they were looking at corner. They were looking at defensive line. But I don't think they were willing to give up significant draft capital, considering the fact that A, they're 4-4, and B, they really need to replenish the young talent.
All right, I have a question about, it's fantasy related, but it involves the scheme and the offense, because I think people are frustrated with Zach Ertz's lack of productivity, but if you look at Dallas Goedert's emergence, if you will, he's becoming a scoring threat, if not multiple scoring threat, every game. And I wonder, how long does this keep up, or is it always going to be, so long as these two tight ends are on the field, one of them, not named Ertz, is going to get less attention?
I don't think that's good. I don't think Ertz's decline in production is related to Goddard.
Zach, real quick, I didn't mean to assume that. I meant more so is that Goddard was taking advantage of being somebody who defenses haven't keyed yet, because you've got so many other guys on the field, including Zach.
Yeah, that's part of it. And Goddard has a big role in the red zone. But my guess is when Deshaun gets back, Ertz's production is really going to go up. What you're seeing now is defense is really keying in on Ertz. And Goddard has been a beneficiary of it, and they need Goddard to be a beneficiary of it. But you're obviously not seeing the wide receivers take advantage of it. I think when Deshaun gets back, there's going to be more focus from the safety on the deep ball, and that's going to open up things in the middle of the field for Ertz. So I agree with what you're saying, that Goddard has stepped up in Ertz's absence, or with the attention Ertz is getting. But I think Ertz's numbers are going to improve in the second half as long as Deshaun's on the field.
All right, Zach Berman, he's great. You got
Can
to
I
follow
ask
him on
Zach
Twitter.
one Halloween?
We have another one?
Well, I just have a Halloween related.
Hurry up.
Oh, you have to go, Zach? Go ahead, man.
Yeah,
Sorry.
he's got to keep
No,
these guys
that's
on
fine.
for 20 minutes.
That's fine. Oh, is that how long it's been? Jesus. Okay.
Thanks, Zach.
Sorry, Zach.
Anytime, guys. Thank you.
All right. I didn't realize it was going on that long.
At C. Berm
We
on
got him
Twitter.
like 10 minutes ago.
You never know. You never keep track.
Yeah.
That's
I
why-
wait for the music.
That's
to
why
play.
Josh has to get in our ear
No,
and say, go to break.
I just wait for the music to play.
Zach Berman was on the Lighthouse Insurance guest line. Has it been a long time since you've actually reviewed your commercial insurance coverages? Well, have your renewals been increasing over the years? And you need to call managing partner Kevin McAdams at Lighthouse right now. 800-691-1686 or online at lighthouse.ins.biz. Now we got Mr. Reardon coming up at 1 o'clock, right?
Go out to Chicago.
For a little Chicago perspective.
Absolutely.
And we'll read some texts on the other side.
Bunch of
How about
texts.
that?
And remember what's going on. Toll Man Joe's.
That's right, man.
Sunday.
Sunday.
It's
10
going
to
to be a
noon.
huge show. I
Exactly.
hear the Schweiner's doing his show there.
Is he?
He's doing it live.
No way. You're kicking off your Sunday morning with the Schwein from 8 to 10 at Tall Man Joe's, and then Tony Bruno?
Is that act? Josh, you have this. I'm
Dude.
telling you, man.
Oh, man.
That is where we're at right
Look
now.
out.
I can't wait.
I'm surprised they're letting him into the city.
Well, apparently he snuck his way in.
Yeah?
It was too late. He was already placed. He got to Toll Man Joe's before Joe Kraus could, and at that point it was too late.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
So he's bunkered in already?
He's bunkered in, so you
All
can
right.
go hang out from 8 to noon, and then watch the game. Head down to the game. There's a gigantic pregame party. It's the
Maybe-
biggest one of the year.
Maybe you win the tickets, too.
Well, that's the thing. You gotta.
Apparently, Schwein has a surprise guest co-host for Saturday. too.
Oh, really? Wow.
Former Eagle, he's claims.
All right. I mean, it better be somebody who's played in like the last 2 centuries.
Maybe Bill Berge.
Ah, jeez.
Back after this.
Listen to Mays and Aton.
Oh man.
That guy's a piece of work.
Huh?
He's a piece of work.
Yeah.
Also known as guest is Ramon Italian.
What's that, buddy?
/app.
I actually know who the special guest is, Ramon Italian.
Sports Bash.
Did people call?
Yeah, man.
Because we're getting texts from Kraus here. I really need a big turnout. Yeah, I kind of figured that.
The Sports Bash, weekdays from 2 to 6 on 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's sports leader. I am so ready for football season. Are you?
I mean, what?
College with a
I thought,
huge
like, what are you getting in?
Pro football on Sunday. Make sure you bet with the best.
Huh?
My guys at the #1 casino in
What's that?
Pennsylvania, Parks Casino and Sportsbook. My guys at Parks Casino and Sportsbook.
I'm saying,
all in person
if you're-
or
I-
online. Download the
I'm
Parks Casino
confused.
Sportsbook
If
app
you're going
right
down
now.
there, can you be eligible for tickets as well?
/PA.
I thought you have to qualify to be eligible.
SWEEP. Sweet
So when
to
do we
get
qualify?
listed
I don't know. I have no
$250
Josh,
on your first
do you have any idea what's going on here?
/PA. Again,
Josh.
PRXcasino.com
Yeah, as long as you can easily qualify.
Sweet to get your
So,
listed bet of up to
the only way you can
$250
win tickets is if you qualify on the phone?
Guys, they should be the guys you trust as well. Place
Okay, so
sports bets, points,
why else are you going down there?
game betting. Sign
Well,
up
because
now.
Kraus going to have other giveaways as well.
Jerseys and shit.
Okay.
Sweet. Get your risk.
Apparently going to have some more jerseys to give away to random people.
Loss is a free bet. You must be in Pennsylvania. Must be 21. Gambling problem. Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Beautify your home for the holidays with Tom Adams Windows and Carpets. Tom Adams Windows and Carpets is offering
Well, Friday after the show, or after the last giveaway, you got to tell us during the break who the Eagles player is.
And Cortex Flooring. Get your home ready for Thanksgiving with a beautiful durable fireproof
Yeah.
Extreme or Cortex floor. Find out why Tom Adams Windows and Carpets has won more national awards in the past 3 years than any other contractor in the tri-state area.
Oh, really?
Designer showrooms. Plus, get
What's one incredible guy?
Tom Adams is
Yeah, I
also
kind of
offering
got that.
12-month financing. New Synchrony accounts get a $100 Visa card rebate with purchase. See store for all the details. But hurry in because this free hard
told
service
it, yeah,
installation sale ends November 13th. Find out more at TomAdamsWC.com. That's TomAdamsWC.com.
We can talk about this series at 1:30.
There are so many
That's
things
it.
when it comes to selecting the right financial institution.
World Series.
Yeah.
Start with the Philadelphia
Oh, we can do it now, whenever.
Now we got to read
University.
text.
We're also the official credit
Aren't
union
there
of
text
Temple
already?
University.
Yeah.
Anyone who lives, works, worships, and studies in Philadelphia can open an account.
Because it's a
They're
short
number
segment.
and offer
Yeah,
all
8 unlimited texts.
Eight.
mobile banking
Dude.
and free ATM withdrawals.
Who's that guy?
Visit our website at
That's Master Ball.
ECU.com.
Who's
We're
that?
here for our profit.
He hosts the.
Follow him, he's a host.
No, Matt's he hosts the Pushing the Odds show on SB Nation Radio. He does the sports gambling show, sports betting show. He just does he does it from one of the casinos out there in Vegas.
Isn't that Matt Hammond guy? Remember
No,
him?
no, that's not.
No, you remember him now?
Yeah.
He's doing
He
some
does this at
show.
MGM.
He's doing some show in Austin, Texas. I don't know if it's online or if it's actually on the radio. But he's verified on Twitter.
Well, he was because he worked at CBS Radio at WIP.
Is that why?
And the Houston station. Yes, Entercom before
They
that
verified all their people.
Correct. It doesn't even have a link to the show. Is this what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's him. Yeah.
It looks like it's just him setting up one of these.
Yeah, I think it's like it's just online or something. I don't even think it's like on the radio.
Give my friend Kevin a call at 800-691-1686. That's 800-691-1686.
You know how he got fired as a Fanatic, right?
White House INS.
Fanatic?
Yeah.
That happened working.
He worked at the Fanatic and he got fired.
Wasn't he the one that fell asleep or like didn't?
No, he left. He left while he was doing the game, like they were running a play-by-play, and he just left the board and went to the gym or something.
No, that was that weightlifting guy. You're thinking of that other guy who was like a weightlifter that people thought was a narc. Remember that guy who thought that he was like a producer from Tallahassee?
The great thing about facts.
Who they brought up, who Jacob Media brought up as a part-time producer, and everybody's like, why would they bring
Jacob
him?
Media?
Not Jacob Media, Beasley. And they brought up that.
Well, this was pre-Beasley.
Oh, it was?
Oh yeah, Hammond got fired pre-Beasley. That was great.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
So-
this is like
so
6
he went
years
to the
ago.
gym?
Yeah, he left and went just like
LA
went to
Fitness?
lunch or he went to the gym or somewhere, and something fucked up during the broadcast, and he wasn't there to fix it, so they fired him. Yeah, I know. Somebody else did that too. There was another guy who did the same thing and got fired. I forget his name though. It might be the guy you're talking
That's what I'm
about.
saying. Yeah, he was awake. He went to the gym. He's just like, nah, I'm out of here. I'm not running the board anymore. Just went to the gym. Ask Sal Chunas about that guy. I'm telling you. It's ridiculous, man. People just walked out of there and left that place. Multiple producers just being like, I don't care. Can you imagine
But I
that?
can't believe WIP hired him after
Sexual
that.
abuse, take legal action.
Hammond.
Jeff Anderson and Associates and attorney Greg
That
Jean
surprises
Picard
me because
Visit itstimennewjersey.com.
Does surprise me,
Call
yeah.
confidentially
I don't think
today.
he was there long though, right?
It's time.
in the IP.
Biggest South Main Street
Yeah.
Phil's
No,
New
because I
Jersey
think that's when he
City.
went down to
This
Texas
is
shooting
Mays
there.
and Aton with Harry
Houston, right?
Mays and Aton
Yeah.
Shander on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app.
So, no, it's all right. I'll stay away from that. I don't want to open up that door. 609-403-0973. I'll tell you in the break. So
Who are you talking to?
To you, but I'll tell you in the break.
All right, we got text to read apparently.
We do. 609-403-0973. I got to pull it up, man.
Okay.
Is Tony's bottom up for Sunday, or is he going to be doing the show from the prone position?
You know, that's a very good question. I don't know the answer to that, but I will know tonight because he's going to be at Screwballs with me tonight over in King of Prussia for that countdown to kickoff show.
Okay.
Okay?
That's the difference.
And actually, it's a game I'm interested in tonight simply because of what the Niners are doing. And not even from a gambling perspective.
No,
Just,
but
I
you'll
just
watch
want to
it,
watch
right?
the Niners.
And I don't think the Cardinals last week was a difficult one because the Saints defense is great, and here we're talking right now about the Niners defense, which is even better. But I think there's some value to this game. I love the Niners. I saw it at 10.5 now.
Yeah, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
It's
know
been
about
bet to
that.
10. 10 points is fine. You can bet that down. I mean, think about this. If you're laying 7, or if you want to bet it down to 6.5, you can buy that. You're not going to get a tremendous odds, but that's a
No,
lot.
I'm staying away. What's the text board say?
Chili is not a trick or treat. Nick from Brigantine.
I agree.
In the 80s, Bill Berge played blackjack for $25 a hand on my table. Bet 15 for him and 10 for the dealers every hand.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And he's a nice guy.
I don't know him.
You don't know him?
No,
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's a good dude, man.
Who is the new Phillies pickup? Robert Stock. Who gives a crap?
Robert Stock.
Yeah. I'd rather talk about Robert Redford. How much money do you think you could have been won if you could have bet on the home team to lose every game in the World Series? Tom from the Villains. Well,
Yeah.
you figure every game the Nats played in, they were not every game in Houston. The Nats weren't a favorite.
No.
So that's 4 games right there. You were getting plus on the money line, and I don't know.
They were even underdogs at home.
I was going to say I don't know if they were underdogs. Well, I can tell you actually, but that would have been something right there if you actually
Yeah,
looked
because
at.
Cole pitched in Washington. He was a favorite.
Correct. So was that the only game that they were a favorite in?
No, I think I forget.
Okay, I can tell you right here.
Yeah.
So what game? Let's go back. So what game?
3, 4, and 5 were in Washington.
So Wednesday was a Washington favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday was a Washington favorite. Ha! Sunday was a Washington favorite. It opened and remained as a Washington favorite. Saturday, both teams in the minus, but if you want to look at it, there's juice right there in the run line. And then Friday, they were a favorite, as they were a week ago. Every single game, they were favorites in.
30 seconds.
Underdogs, pardon me. Nationals were underdogs.
That's what yeah.
Not
Yeah.
favorites. Every single
Yeah.
game, the only game they weren't plus money in is Saturday's game,
20 seconds.
which both, Houston's ended at minus 103, Washington minus 107.
Yeah, right. Wow.
Well, what
I
matchup
rode
was
them.
that?
I rode them the whole way.
Me too.
Yeah.
Even in game, they were
Yeah.
great in
We'll
game.
get more of that at 1:30.
I love it. Thank you.
Now we got
Shane Reardon.
Shane Reardon coming up next.
3, 2, 1.
Beautify your home for the holidays with Tom Adams Windows and Carpets. Tom Adams Windows and Carpets is offering free installation on all hard surfaces, vinyl, tile, laminate, and hardwood. Save on Pergo, Mohawk, Mannington Redwood Plus,
No.
Strong, and Cortec flooring. Get your home ready for Thanksgiving with a beautiful, durable, pet-proof Pergo, Screen, or Cortec floor. Find out why Tom Adams Windows and Carpets has won more national awards in the past 3 years than any other contractor in the tri-state area. Check out their 3 large designer showrooms, plus get free measurement. Tom Adams is also offering 12-month financing. New Synchrony accounts get a
Tom
$100
Adams is
Visa
in the
card
freaking
rebate
house,
for purchase. See store for all the details.
What happened to Tom Adams?
This free hard service installation sale ends November 13th. Find out more at TomAdamsWC.com. That's TomAdamsWC.com.
This football season, visit the Great American Pub.
Boy,
where
I
you'll
tell
find
ya,
good food,
it's already
great times, and good football. Any way you like it. It all comes together at the Great American Pub. Catch the game at any of the 3 Great American Pub locations in Conshohocken, Wayne, and Phoenixville. Go to thegreatamericanpub.com. The Great American Pub, where good food, great times, and good football mean your weekends are covered from start to
Can you
finish.
see that?
The Great American Pub, the preferred location
All right,
of the
Tom,
Amazing
can you see that?
Aton Show. Make your next game out at the Great American Pub.
Barely.
Heard it work? Go right now to injuredworkers.com. When you're injured on the job, your family is injured as well. Turn to a firm of legal attorneys that can help, that care, and that you can count on. Go to injuredworkers.com from Malamut and Associates. Nobody plans to get injured, but if it happens, you need injuredworkers.com. Get the help you need from injuredworkers.com. Go to injuredworkers.com right now.
Dry Guys of South Jersey wants to know if you have sticking doors and windows. If so, it could be a foundation problem, and this family-owned business wants to help. They use over 30 patented products and warranties that will repair bowing and will replace cracked and leaky foundation walls. If your home is settling, Dry Guys will give you a lift. Call 844-470-4808, 844-470-4808, or visit dryguysonair.com. Take the first step. You'll be glad you did. Go to dryguysonair.com. This season, the Eagles pregame starts at Dunkin'. DD Perks members score a $1 medium hot or iced coffee on Eagles game days. So don't just celebrate the Eagles from the sidelines. Head to Dunkin' and get a kick before the kickoff. Plus, DD Perks members get a $1 medium hot or iced coffee the day after every Eagles win this season. Just use your Perks Enrolled Dunkin' card or show your loyalty ID. Eagles fans, run on Dunkin'. Excludes cold brew. Limit 1 per guest per visit. Participation may vary. Limited time offer.
Health Update with Robin Stoll, brought to you by the Wound Care Clinic of South Jersey and Goodman and Rosenberg Dentistry.
How protected are you from a home fire? According to the American Red Cross, we only have 2 minutes to get out of our home before getting stuck in the flames. It doesn't take much effort to avoid a tragedy. First, make sure you have smoke alarms in every bedroom and at least 1 on every floor. Set a reminder on your phone to refresh the batteries when you change the parts at the beginning and end of daylight savings time. Also, never leave kitchen unattended. Keep candles and candles away from anything that could catch fire. And make sure you unplug any chargers when not in use, especially if they're warm to the touch. Finally, if you don't have a fire extinguisher, it's a good idea to get one. It can keep a small problem from turning into a big one. For more information
Industries of Soleil Laser for no line, no drill procedures.
Audible for Autism is a non-profit organization serving the autistic community of Philadelphia in the Delaware Valley. It's an honor to partner with Audible for Autism and their fantastic program. Join them every football season as they
It sounds like Frank Canal rather than a fucking garage. That's not Chris Coleman. That's Frank Canal, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's for the Eagles.
It's a life-changing and unforgettable experience. Audible for Autism provides an innovative game day immersion program, providing individuals the opportunity to participate in every aspect of a live football game. To donate and for more information, go to audibleforautism.org. Audible for Autism, changing children's lives one touchdown at a time. Audibleforautism.org.
Indeed presents this 97.3 ESPN Pet Center. I'm Tony Vaziri. NFL Sunday, the Eagles taking on the Chicago Bears. Philadelphia a 5-point favorite. Chicago plus 195 on the money line. The Eagles minus 230. Over-under point total set at 42.5. Both the over and the under are minus 110. College football Thursday night. Baylor at 7-0 in the season, ranked 12th in the AP poll, taking on West Virginia in the Big 12. Baylor minus 1,000 on the money line. The Mountaineers plus 650. Baylor an 18-point favorite in Waco. Over-under point total at 56.5. The over and under minus 110. Indeed is used by more than
I'm here.
for hiring.
Guy didn't answer, but wait a second, call again.
Indeed.com/hire. I'm Tony Vaziri with your 97.3 ESPN.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, I'm giving you the number now. Ready? I have to give you the number. Ready?
Mays and Aton.
Yo, you ready?
Sports Bash.
Yeah.
Mike
773-456-7182.
PhD, Millville, Atlantic City. The
456-7182.
Yep.
In partnership, calling out
Thanks, man.
73 ESPN brings you the Mays and Aton Show. Middays with Harry Mays and Aton Shander. Now, it's the Midday Show with Harry Mays and Aton Shander on 97.3 ESPN Radio.
Well, we'll head out to Chicago in a matter of seconds here, as Shane Reardon will join us at Shane_Reardon. 670thescore.com. 670thescore. You should know that station out in Chicago.
That's a big one.
We've got the World Series as well, as lucrative as it was for you and I. And when you're on top, why not talk about it? Some great moments. We'll never see a road team.
I really
win
enjoyed
every
it.
game.
And
Me
it
too.
wasn't even just about the gambling aspect of it. I just really enjoyed watching the games. Now, I got to be honest, over the weekend, I was distracted heavily with college and pro football. Like, I didn't really pay as much attention to the games that were in Washington, but the 4 games in Houston, I was dialed in.
Yep.
Except last night, I passed out. I must have passed out right at the bottom of the 8th.
Well, you texted me.
Yeah,
Right?
but then I just went to sleep. I just lost it. Just went to sleep, and I woke up. I'm like, oh, they won.
But you were up when they went ahead, because that's when I got the text from you, Nats, with the 6 exclamation points.
You were not the only one I was texting to.
Right, I'm sure.
I was texting a lot of these people, like Nick Cale, who were all over the Astros.
Well, hold on a second. Don't group me in with Nick Cale. I had the Astros with you from the jump.
No, I know. You were with me, but I'm saying I was texting a lot of people
who
that
weren't
had the Astros.
You were texting people who were not.
Exactly.
All right, do we have Shane, Josh?
I don't know if we got him yet.
Not answering.
Not answering. He doesn't want to talk to us.
Oh, shit.
I'll tell you what. These guests that you hook up on, these. How many times? This is like the second time now, where one of your guys, one of these guys I've never heard of, blows us off.
Well, apparently, see, I don't want to get him in trouble. So, apparently, Shane can't do the interview, and I'll leave it at that.
Oh, he can't?
No, he cannot.
Okay. You can't say why?
Nope.
When did he notify you of this? Just now?
I put a tweet out, and apparently that alerted some people.
Oh.
I wonder, 670 intercom?
See, you always have to tweet. Why do you always have to tweet?
He wanted me to.
Well, then, he's not aware that his radio station would have had an issue with it?
I think it's a certain company that's cracking down. Because remember Chris Russell down in Washington, D.C.?
That was the other guy that blew us off.
Well, Chris can't do it anymore. No, Chris has never blown us off.
Because of a conflict?
Yeah, because they won't. I can go on his show, but he can't come on our show.
Oh yeah, I love how these stupid radio companies get all territorial and start peeing, and marking their territory.
Well,
it's stupid.
Is there anybody else that you'd like to reach out to in Chicago?
No, screw the Bears.
I'm just saying.
Mike North would be the only guy that I'd want to talk to.
I thought Mike
Chicago.
North gives picks.
He does.
Monday and Thursday night.
He does, but he's like one of the most famous radio hosts in the city of Chicago history.
I guarantee you, Josh has a way to contact Mike North.
Well,
right?
if you have Mike North's number, I'd love to get him on.
Can we do that, Josh?
I'll check.
Well, don't you talk to him twice a week?
No, he doesn't come on the show.
He cuts.
Guy.
No,
That's Mike North who's giving out picks from Lambeau or Baltimore.
No, but Mike North does give some gambling stuff out.
Okay.
He's not a tout.
Okay.
He was a former morning show host in Chicago sports for years.
Right.
Decades.
I think you're talking about.
He used to run a food cart, you know that? Near Wrigley Field.
No.
Yeah. He used to run he was like a hot dog vendor.
Is that right?
Near Wrigley Field. Yeah.
And
always
giving out
talking
picks?
sports, and next thing you know, he's on the radio.
So he's giving out picks and everything?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. All right.
We'll get back to the text board. That's fine. 609-403-0973. You have anything else you want to hit?
Well,
right
I
now?
was going to ask your buddy, how much their general manager Ryan Pace is on the hot seat for the move up the board, a la Howie Roseman, that he made a few years ago, the year after Wentz got drafted, to go get Trubisky. Because remember, they moved up to number 2 and gave up some significant capital to go draft this guy who played 13 college football games at North Carolina. And now that pick is not looking all that good.
No, especially because they're not going to re-sign him to some big contract.
Right.
He's out.
And they had a defensive coach in there. Fox was the coach.
Yep.
So they move on from him to get an offensive mind in Nagy from Andy Reid's staff to go with Trubisky. That's the whole idea, like everybody's doing. Get the offensive-minded coach with the quarterback and grow together. And they're going in the wrong direction. That gets people fired.
I think you're right, man. At this point, the only thing that I think extends your job is if you immediately move on from the guy and you bring in somebody young, a new quarterback, and say, all right, well, this is, we need, but the problem too is that your team is pretty much ready to win. Like if you're
defensively, and they've got some weapons.
If you improve the offensive line and you bring in a new quarterback, they should be able to compete for that division.
Right.
When everybody's healthy.
I agree. Yeah, because Tariq Cohen's not doing squat this year though. They got this Montgomery kid from Iowa State.
Well, they
who's a
gave
pretty
him the
good
ball
running
30
back.
times or Sunday.
Yeah, I know, but Cohen's sort of fallen off the pace. His numbers are way down. Allen Robinson's a pretty good receiver. They got Cordero Patterson who can make a play.
Yeah, but that's not
special
you're pretty
teams.
much, you need another receiver.
Yeah, they do.
It'd be nice to get another tight
Or a
end in
good
there.
tight end.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think you look at this game specifically, look at the difference, right? Doug Peterson, based off last week, just look at last week. NFL's such a trendy game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So last week, the two big things that jump out to me on both sides for both teams, one each. First, for the Eagles, there is a refound, if you can find that. What's the term? Like a newly
Rediscovered?
Rediscovered, that's best. Sense of confidence in Carson Wentz with the head coach. Mainly health, like calling plays and giving him autonomy to run, all these things. It seems as if, based off last week alone, there's a difference, and Coach Peterson is willing to entrust more with Carson Wentz, not trying to limit him and just keep him in the pocket, which is great for Carson Wentz. On the flip side, the other thing that I take away, the head coach in Chicago had so little faith in his quarterback to move the ball 5 yards.
Against the Chargers.
He didn't even want him handing the ball off.
No, I know.
Forget dropping back. He didn't even want him. They had already given David Montgomery the ball 27 times at that point. He didn't want to make it even 28 because he didn't trust Mitchell Trubisky.
I know.
That's the big... Eagles win by 14. There's no trust whatsoever in Mitchell. They're better off going with Chase Daniel.
Well, they are. Chase Daniel's QBR is like practically double what Trubisky's is. Chase Daniels is 66. Trubisky's is 36.
Oh my gosh.
QBR, that is.
Well,
Okay?
it's still. I mean,
Yeah.
it's something.
Yeah, I mean it's a measurable, So, yeah, this game I kind of agree with Zach Berman though too. Low scoring.
You think it's close, low-scoring game?
No, I don't think it's close.
I don't think that Bears team is going to keep it
I
close.
think the Bears, do they get 10 points? Is this like a 20 to 10, 23 to 10?
You know
type
what's
game?
crazy, man? The NFL is on the verge of this happening. And I'll just use the NBA as an example here. Now the NBA has made it to the point in which two bad teams can score 120 each because of the flow and the nature of it. With a holding call, with a defensive pass interference call, like you can get 7 points. I think anybody in like this guy.
Any bad team, you're saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think.
Like the Dolphins.
The Dolphins took advantage of Mason Rudolph, but yes, you're right. You can get 7 points. You can get 10 points. I don't think 10 points is unrealistic for any team in the NFL right now because of the nature and how the game's called. So I looked at it more like a 24-10 type game.
Okay, I said
27-13 type game.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But they cover that 5-point line.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, we'll talk deeper about the number on it tomorrow. But my goodness, 74% of the money is on the Eagles. 60% of the bets are on the Birds, with 74% of that money. Nobody wants to. Isn't that crazy?
What? Nobody's taking the Bears at all?
Well, not nobody, but I'm saying like there's a 14% point difference in the number of bets versus the percentage of the money of those bets.
I got 52 to 48 over here. 52% on the Eagles.
As far as total money, or as far as the percentage of the money?
Percentage on the point spread.
Where I have it is 74. That's all right. I mean, listen, people are taking it maybe from different casinos.
Yeah, but then
the number
heavily on the under.
I have 88%.
92%.
See, I have 88. There's the difference. So a lot of people don't think, and look, that's been bet down 3 points.
And that's crazy when the public gets behind an under.
Correct.
I mean, that's kind of rarefied air.
No value in the money line on that game at all. There really isn't much value on the money line really anywhere. This is a tough weekend to bet.
It is.
If you're just taking straight up who wins.
Yeah, it's a weird weekend. It's a bad weekend in college football because there's hardly any good games.
Right, and everybody's waiting for the game following.
Well, a lot of teams have off. Like Alabama, LSU have off. Temple doesn't even play this, so they play Thursday next week.
Good, we're fading Temple.
Penn State doesn't play this week. Clemson plays Wofford, which they might get a better effort out of Wofford than they do some of the ACC teams, to be honest.
Listen, we've seen Georgia lose at home.
Yeah, to South Carolina.
Correct. I don't know. That's not the same. South Carolina's better than Wofford, but we've had 3 straight weeks where a team's season is shut with a loss.
Oklahoma this past weekend.
Correct.
Yeah, I tell you, they lost the Sooner Schooner a week and a half ago, and then 7 days later, their whole season goes up in smoke.
What an omen.
What
an omen.
Wow.
What an omen.
Kansas State. Weren't you on Oklahoma, too? You were crowing about Oklahoma last Friday at Parks Casino, like you loved Oklahoma.
Right.
Did you mush them?
I might have. It might have been enough.
Josh didn't take that game.
No, I don't think so.
No,
but that game was, it was front. You saw it right away. Like
I was watching some of it.
Correct. So I think you look at this and try to understand specifically how you can get anybody to be upset this weekend, and the only team that really can throw a huge wrench in it would be Clemson. And Clemson would be the only team right there to do that.
Well, yeah, unless you had for the championship, I'm thinking like the SEC East, the winner's going to come out of the game on Saturday.
Right.
Georgia already has a loss, but if they beat Florida, that kind of throws a wrench into the SEC East, doesn't it?
Correct. I think that's the biggest difference.
But everybody's waiting for LSU Alabama the following week. And that should be pretty good.
Especially, there's a belief that Tua may not play. I know it's a game time decision. We'll see how that impacts people leading up to it. But
that's crazy. That Tua kid. He's had the same surgery on both ankles now in consecutive years.
Is that right?
Yeah, because he's had high ankle sprains.
Before that.
Some crazy procedure that some doctor came up with where they go in and normally you don't need surgery for a high ankle sprain, right? But to get you back quicker, this thing does it where he puts in some kind of device, and it kind of like wraps.
Stabilizes?
Yes. Yeah, it's crazy.
Really?
Yeah, I was looking it up.
Okay. 609-403-0973. Dan from EHT, the fight was all about Wolves going Rocky earlier. Protect their house. Towns is an Eagles fan. Don't bring that trash into our house.
Well, yeah, they were on the Rocky steps. We talked about that with Kevin Kincaid yesterday. But you also, I saw you you tweeted a video of Karl Anthony Towns boxing.
Correct.
Now, what's that all about?
I don't know. ESPN put this thing up here, I think. Was it ESPN?
I don't know.
Yeah, NBA on ESPN.
Oh, okay.
Some old video or some video of Karl Anthony Towns
He's
training.
sparring. He's like in a ring with a guy with he's putting up those mitts, and he just hits the mitts.
And he's struggling because he's got these long ass arms, so it's tough, man. Like
Actually, looks pretty good.
He's all right.
For a big guy.
He's all right, but you're doing all this footwork and all these hands work, and you figure why not put it to use? Instead, you just grapple a guy.
Yeah. Well, he wanted no parts of the big guy.
I think that a real look. Let's talk about a real fight when it gets to fisticuffs. That's all.
Yeah.
You want to get to Nick's heat. Guys threw punches
I know.
like that.
I know.
Right? I mean listen. You got into a fight with Charles Oakley. He wasn't going to wrestle you to the ground.
No, that's like a street fight.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
So
that's all. Let's step it up a little bit. Yeah. All right. Both of these guys, they want to take a risk. Let's do it.
All right. Now, getting to the game last night. Scherzer wasn't great, obviously, but he battled his ass off.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You can tell he didn't have his best stuff. But how amazing is it that just 2 nights before, the guy couldn't raise his arm above his shoulder, and the next night he's actually in the bullpen, thinking he might have to come in the game, and then he pitches. What did he give him? 5-6 innings?
Yeah. It wasn't a bad effort.
No.
Apparently, he had a bunch of chiropractic procedures done. He had some needles stuck in his neck.
Well, he had a cortisone shot.
Yep.
And he was wearing like a neck brace, and he was in treatment. His teammates were saying he was getting treatment 24/7. Like, that's how badly he wanted to pitch.
I'll say that. It's amazing. You've seen 2 crazy stories, 3 really, with this World Series. One is the home team lost every game.
Yeah.
Which
unprecedented. You'll never see it again.
Right. NFL doesn't count, but you'll never see in the NBA. You'll never see that in the NBA. NHL.
You
maybe.
could see it in hockey.
You think so?
Yeah, you could. I'd tell you, home ice really means nothing. I could see hockey. Maybe it's the only other sport where it could happen. Basketball, forget it.
Basketball, never.
Yeah.
This is baseball. I don't see it happening in baseball again. I mean, honestly, it just turned into a series. This was not something that analytically you could have predicted, because it's not like coming into this World Series there were predictions based off analytics and trends saying, well, this is going to be the year that it's going to buck.
Right.
And based on pitching matchup, no. It just played out this way. That was the first one. Second one was Max Scherzer. Third one is most important. Second one for me, Harry, was Max Scherzer. You just laid it all out. I'm not going to add to it. I think it was a perfect encapsulation of a guy who did everything he could just to get in there, and they needed him.
He did.
Out there.
Well, the start that he missed, he felt so bad. You think about that.
Well, you're at home and you lose the game.
Right, but also you're letting your teammates down. That's when you really understand, like, these guys, the team concept.
Correct.
Like he was determined to do whatever possible to get back and pitch.
Correct.
It's pretty cool.
It's amazing to see that. And the biggest story, I think, is it dates back to years ago when we here and everybody else made fun of the Washington Nationals for shutting Steven Strasburg down.
Yeah, Rizzo did it, yeah.
And this kid,
Mike
World
Rizzo.
Series MVP, earned every second of it. He was dominant and huge in this series.
Yeah, but we can't go back and say that because they shut him down that year, that had anything to do with this performance.
I don't know that it didn't.
Well, I know, but you can't.
He's fresh. He was able to go. I mean,
this is the first year he hasn't really been hurt.
Well, that maybe what you're doing, and listen, I'm not saying this is a precedent and everybody should be shut down. I'm saying the specific procedure that was applied to him specifically didn't hurt him. It didn't, you can't use that term anymore. It didn't infringe on his growth.
Stunt.
Yes. Stunt.
Yeah. All right. Now here's the other thing. After Rendon hit the homer, Soto came up, and there was a 2-1 count, and there was a ball at changeup. That was a strike, and they called it a ball. So it made it a 3-1 count. He walked on the next pitch, and then comes Howie Kendrick with the bomb that hit the fair pole screen. Soto, that pitch was a strike. Okay, that pitch, you got 2-2 instead of 3-1. Who knows what happens there if he gets on base?
Correct.
So that was a big thing I wrote down. And then the other thing is, he goes to the bullpen. Hinch goes to the bullpen and brings in Will Harris. You got Garrett Cole sitting out there warmed up.
Maybe that's why Cole's out.
I mean, don't you have to go down with your best guy? That guy's going to win the Cy Young. I know Will Harris is good too, but
no, you're right.
He's not Garrett Cole.
I don't
know.
know.
Run the way that Garrett Cole's been.
Was there a justification for that?
I don't know. I didn't read one. Maybe there's. I'm sure the reporters asked, in the post game. But Howie Kendrick comes up big again. He came up big in the Dodgers series too, because the Nationals were trailed 3-1 in the 8th inning of that game too. The 5th game against the Dodgers.
Right.
Remember, then they finished in a flurry, won the game like 7-3.
Yes. Was that the Howie Kendrick homer?
hit the grand slam.
Man, I had Kendrick homering and the Nats winning 2 games ago, not last night, at plus 800, and I was tempted to go back to the well.
Wow.
And I didn't.
Wow. Now, and they also trailed 3-1 in the 8th inning of the wild card game against Milwaukee, if you remember. And they got that booted ball in right field, ended up winning the game 4-3.
Who hit that? Soto?
I forget who hit it. Yeah, I forget.
My goodness, man.
But
this has been a team of destiny.
What an unbelievable. So like Corbin came in, he was great.
Yep.
They kept, the Astros, you keep Turner off base, you're thinking you're going to have a good chance of winning a game, right?
I would think so.
He didn't get off base, and Eaton was fantastic.
He was, right.
In that
right.
series.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was
really entertaining.
It was, man.
Yeah.
And I think the best part about it, to your point, every time the Nats were down, the odds would just jump.
Yeah.
And this was a team who, you just laid it out, made a
grit.
living coming back.
Yeah.
I'll never get over the Verlander thing in Game 6. How people out there who set these odds put him at plus 300 with a 1-run deficit against Justin Verlander in the 3rd inning.
The Nats were
Yes,
plus 300.
the Nats jumped to plus. I'm thinking to myself, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I tell
Justin Verlander?
I can't wait now until next baseball season because this in-game stuff with baseball is fantastic.
It really is. I don't know how long you have to get into a season to kind of get this feel, but maybe we just got lucky because we already knew what the Nats team was.
Right.
But yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Listen, the Sixers are a great in-game bet. NFL is, it now. And look at this.
Like tonight.
Right.
Let's just say
it's 3-0, right? Or 10-3.
Niners.
Yes.
Yeah, and the Niners, laying 10? You get in
or maybe it's 6-3 or something like that. Like, it's an ugly first half.
But either way, you can get a gauge for how a team comes out in their first couple of drives and say, you know what, this team came to play tonight. And it's just go on your apps, get the Parks app and go bang an in-game bet.
I love it.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we'll be at Parks tomorrow.
Yeah.
ParksCasino.com/PA. Make sure you use our promo code SWEEP, and you'll get a risk-free bet up to $500. Think about that. One bet up to $500. It's risk-free. Use our promo code SWEEP. That's ParksCasino.com/PA. Promo code SWEEP. Now, coming up, we'll get another shot in here to qualify 5 more people for tickets to go see this game, Sunday, Bears-Eagles. We also have some more texts, 609-403-0973. Sixers used to give out free McDonald's hamburgers when they scored 125 points. Man. That must have been back when it was like...
When was that?
Back when the McDonald's hamburger was actually popular. I mean, who goes to McDonald's and orders a plain hamburger?
Well, not a plain hamburger. No. I go with the quarter pounder with cheese or the double quarter pounder with cheese.
Right.
If I'm feeling really frisky.
Nobody goes and orders just a plain hamburger.
No.
Do people eat that? Like, here's the thing. There's gourmet. If you have gourmet ground or like really good ground beef, and you don't want to just salt and pepper, and you put it on the grill, and you don't want to add anything to it, I can listen to that. But a fast food, doesn't matter the company, a regular hamburger from fast food?
I couldn't eat just a regular hamburger.
Even in
your situation.
In general?
That you just know, I have that.
And you see that grill back there, right?
A slice of cheese on it.
Nah, I'm gonna tune up that grill next time.
I gotta have cheese. Yeah, you can throw a little bacon on there too, man.
Bacon?
Come on.
I'm 335 pounds. It's never too warm to have chili. Could I get that address so I can go do some trick-or-treating myself? Freddie in Swedesboro. That's awesome.
He loves him some chili.
If Stone Cold Steve Austin's ever considered a villain, he's the best ever. Hulk Hogan turned heel to join the NWO.
Yeah,
that's another one, right?
That's when didn't he dye his hair black or something?
He did. Everything was
more black, right?
Sid Vicious, a great villain. Razor Ramon, Bam Bam Bigelow. Happy Halloween, but last but not least, Nature. But was Ric Flair a villain?
You know, he kind of walked both sides.
Nah, you can't walk. You can't ride the fence with me.
He's like Stone Cold Steve Austin. He was so likable, even when he was trying to be a villain. I don't think it came across as he was a villain.
Okay.
Because he's just really likable.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yes.
Like if The Rock, the Rock was so likable.
I don't think The Rock was a villain.
No, but I'm saying if
you were, right.
If you were, you'd still be like, yeah, I love him.
Yeah, the anti-hero.
It's hard to be a real heel.
Gotcha. All right, tickets coming up.
609-573-3776. 609-573-3776. The first 5 that talk to Josh will be qualified to come out to Toll Man Joe's on Sunday, 10 to noon for the big countdown to kickoff show with Bruno. There's free parking there. And from there, 5 lucky winners will get tickets, pair of tickets each, and get shuttled over to the game.
You're listening to the Amazing Aton Show, presented by Dry Guys of South Jersey. Go to dryguysonair.com and get the help you need with your wet face.
Yeah, I'm here.
On the next edition of the Sports
What's up?
Bash with Mike Gill.
Coming up, we're live at Chickies and Pete. You cannot carry the mic a little bit for some reason, but the beginning of the show now is right at that low.
All right, I got you.
Game 7 of the World Series. Plus, it's the final five. It's going to gradually getting lower. And listen for your name at 2:30 and 4:30.
The Sports Bash, weekdays from 2 to 6 on 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's sports leader.
There are so many choices when it comes to selecting the right financial institution. Select the Philadelphia Federal Credit Union. We're right here in your city. We're also the official credit union of Temple University, and anyone who lives, works, worships, and studies in Philadelphia can open an account. With convenient locations throughout our city of brotherly love. Also online at cfcu.com with free online and mobile banking. We're not here for our profits, here for yours. Federally insured by NCUA.
Del Val Insurance wants to save you 40% on your car insurance right now, and they will do it today. Here's managing partner Jim Milner.
A lot of people pay a lot more premium than they need to, and they may not have the coverage to justify what they're paying.
There's no charge for the complimentary insurance review. You will save money, and you will connect with a company that is an advocate, not a broker. Go to dvigi.com or simply call Jim at 215-354-0122. That's 215-354-0122.
I've met clients that think that I, as an independent agent, charge a fee versus going direct to Geico or going direct to Progressive. We do not charge a fee.
Let Del Val Insurance save you up to 40% on your car insurance. Get your
Right, it's like he's at a rock
review.
concert.
Call Jim
You know what I mean? He's setting up for the Stones. Really bizarre. Correct. Like, it don't take that long.
215-354-0122. Your savings
Now,
are
Robin has a lot more to set up than
This
him.
season, the Eagles
All those
pregame
cameras,
starts at Dunkin'.
Twitch
DD
deal.
Perks
Right,
members
that's
score
actually
a
involved.
medium hot or iced coffee on Eagles game days. So don't just celebrate
Must
the
you
Eagles
fuck
from the
around with these-
sidelines. Head to
where these
Dunkin'
boards
and
are.
get a kick before
Must
the
you?
kickoff. Plus, DD Perks members get a $1 medium hot or iced coffee the day after every Eagles win this season. Just use your Perks Enrolled Dunkin' card or show your loyalty ID. Eagles fans, run on Dunkin'. Excludes cold brew. Limit 1 per guest per visit. Participation may vary. Limited time offer.
Covering Philadelphia and the suburbs with a tremendous history of great success in the real estate market, meet Kristen Thompson. A proud graduate of Villanova, Kristen has been in the real estate business for 20 years and specializes in buyers, sellers, and investors. You can call Kristen directly at the Keller
that's really
Williams
gonna
Realty
impact them in Chicago, that he's going on Philadelphia. That's stupid.
229-2451. Kristen Thompson, your real estate advocate, who will work tirelessly on your behalf while ensuring the sale or the purchase is the easiest part of the process.
Here's a message for contractors and business owners concerned about the bottom line. Make sure your commercial insurance coverage is right. Call Lighthouse Commercial Insurance. They can help. Let Lighthouse put together a comprehensive plan that is right for you for the right money. With 25 years of experience in the Philadelphia market, they know the most reputable and the most aggressive carriers. Give my friends Chatty a call at 800-691.
Tell you, your Periscope is
Or
great.
visit them online today at www.lighthouse.ins.biz. Everyone wants hot water. Dependable and consistent. Choose Emax tankless electric water heaters. America's #1 tankless electric water heating solution for hot water. Contractors want the best solutions for their clients. They provide dependable hot water. From homes to commercial kitchens to office buildings, health clubs to high-tech manufacturers and to apartment complexes. Contractors choose Emax. Emax has tankless electric hot water heating products to address any application. Emax products are the best point-of-use tankless electric water heaters. Easy to install and maintain. Emax products provide endless hot water. Save space, save water, save energy, and save money. Emax is evolving hot water. Find Emax at distributors or online at emax.com. That's EEMAX.com. EEMAX.com.
Toll Man Joe's in the heart of South Philly is Tony Bruno's home on Eagles game day. And for those of you in Cape May County, Toll Man Joe's in Wildwood is your football home every week in September. Toll Man Joe's, where wings were created, wings were perfected, and where your football Sunday is set to begin this Sunday and every Eagles game day. Get to Toll Man Joe's. Join me, Tony Bruno. I'll see you on game day at Toll Man Joe's.
Excuse me, Captain. This is your wake-up call from the new Tractphone Wireless.
What's that now?
What if you had to fly this plane while sitting back in the cabin?
How long should we be doing this?
Well, that's what it's
Bury the
like
hatchet
with some
campaign.
wireless companies, but Tractphone Wireless gives you
Didn't
control.
he say 6 weeks or
Yeah.
something like that?
How long do you want it? 6 weeks. It's longer than that, though.
Contracts, plus
I mean-
unlimited carryover data with active service.
That's cool. How do you get my contact?
8 to 12 weeks would be optimal, but
Real batteries, terms and conditions at Tracphone.com.
A new law helps survivors of childhood sexual abuse take legal action. Jeff Anderson and Associates and attorney Carl help. Visit itstimenewjersey.com or call confidentially today 1-800-ITS-TIME.
What did he say?
80 South Main Street, Phillipsburg, New Jersey 08865.
You said
You are
what's the
listening
minimum?
to
8
Mays
or
and
12?
Eitan with Harry Mays and Eitan Shander on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app.
All right, Mays and Eitan, we are back, and you got to jump on the line right now, 609-573-3776. If you want a chance to go to the Eagles-Bears games on us for free. It's all a big part of our countdown to kickoff bash at Toll Man Joe's this Sunday from noon or 10 to noon, leading into the Eagles pregame show. And of course, you can hear the game right here on 97.3 ESPN. And actually, it's getting kicked off, if you will, at 8 in the morning with the Schwein doing his show with a special former Eagle guest from 8 to 10 rolling into the countdown to kickoff show. So you know it's big.
That's amazing.
Right?
Yes.
609-573-3776. Now, a couple more things here. I'm looking, we're all thinking that Embiid's going to get some sort of suspension, right?
Right.
They are about to embark on a road trip. Actually, they play 7 of their next 9 games are on the road. They're going out west right now to Portland. They play Portland on Saturday. Then Phoenix, the upstart Phoenix Suns on Monday. Wednesday, they're at Utah. You love the Utah Jazz.
Love them.
They beat the Clippers last night. And then they go to Denver, who's another tough team. So they got 4 pretty good games coming up here. Now, how soon do you think this suspension, if he gets one, and I think he will, kicks in?
I think it probably kicks in. It will come down in the next day or two.
Do they appeal it?
I would appeal it. Why not? And then you play during the appeal. So you're probably looking at 14 days from now.
Oh, you think it's that long?
Well, with the appeal process,
Because I'm thinking if they could work this
10
where-
days.
Okay, well if they can work that, then maybe they can get him for the road trip to play, and then when they come home, they only have Charlotte and Cleveland.
Yeah.
Like you can do without him on those games, right? Still have a good chance to win, right?
Right.
And you're at home, because then they go back out on the road for 3 at Orlando, who's better this year, at Oklahoma City, they stink, and then at Cleveland. But 7 of their next 9 are on the road.
Well, it's tough when you're on the road, and if in fact Embiid, let's just say it's 7 days from now that Embiid gets suspended. So where is that? Where is that on the schedule?
Well, that would put you right at that Utah-Denver situation, November the 6th and November the 8th.
Okay.
So,
All right. Well, that on the road in Houston. I don't like that.
no, they're not in Houston.
Oh, I thought you said Houston.
No.
Why did I think you said
I-
Houston?
I have no
Utah, maybe I...
Yeah,
I,
Utah.
Right.
Because I said you love you some Utah.
No, I know. All right.
All right, go ahead. You have the text board because I got something else on the Nationals. But go ahead.
Yep. No, I'd rather get you on the Nationals.
All right. Well, Bob Nightingale had this out. This is, I forget when this actually came out, but I saw it today about how the Nationals, their front office and their scouting system was constructed. You know, Mike Rizzo, of course, the general manager, getting a lot of credit as well he should, because they've assembled a really nice team. You know, a lot of it's drafting. You know, some of the free agents signed. They've done it every which way to put that squad together. They don't have a single person in their front office from Harvard, Yale, or MIT. I'm reading from Nightingale's piece. They, the Nats, believe in pouring money into their scouting and player development. They have 10 scouts and advisors who are 60 years or older, including 2 who were alive the last time the nation's capital had a team in the World Series. That's a long time ago.
Just 2 that were alive?
Yes.
Okay.
They are the Washington Nationals, and they're putting an old school beatdown on the Astros. This was after the first 2 games of the series.
Right.
Okay, now it ends up they win, so I can read this. But the Nationals are proving that it's still cool to believe in old-fashioned scouting, treat players like human beings instead of assets, and value experience as a positive instead of a negative.
Sounds like everything Gabe Kapler did not do.
Isn't that the case? That's
Yes.
That's why this jumped out at
Well,
me.
who hired Gabe Kapler? That guy should be fired into the sun.
He's still there.
Oh, okay.
But I'm just saying, it's kind of interesting. Like, it's that old school approach. Yeah, they use analytics? Sure, they incorporate analytics, but they haven't forgotten about just old school player scouting and
Right.
evaluating.
Right, yeah.
And the Phillies need to do a hell of a better job at that. Or it doesn't matter who the manager is or how much money they throw at free agency.
No, I get
understand
that.
what I'm saying?
No, and I think that's going to be the biggest barometer, if you will, that will set up with Joe Girardi and this team is how do they match up against a Braves team that won the division and a wild card team in this same division that's better than at the Atlanta Braves. And I don't know if Joe Girardi winning a press conference is going to matter in September next year.
No, I know.
We'll have to go back to that.
I saw your boy CC Sabathia on ESPN today predicting
everywhere.
that Joe Girardi will lead the Phillies into the 2020 postseason.
Well,
CC looking for a job on a staff?
I think
his career's over.
Is that staff ESPN? Is that what he was
Well,
doing?
I don't know, but I'm
ESPN car wash
saying
today, right?
maybe he's throwing out some love to Joe to maybe be included on his staff in Philly.
Pitching coach?
I don't know.
I'd take CC as a pitching
Well,
coach.
Rothschild's probably going to get that.
Yeah, I understand that there's a pitching coach here. My point of it is that I would gladly replace him with CC Sabat. These guys don't know anything.
No, but I'm saying Rothschild from the Yankees got let go.
Not Ryan Rothstein.
No, he was Girardi's pitching coach.
Right. Well, they already hired a pitching coach.
Who?
The Yankees. Ryan Price is in now.
Yeah, I know. Rothschild is out. I'm saying that he comes to Philly. That's what everybody's thinking. So CC would have to take a back seat to him.
No, this guy takes a back seat. You don't take a back seat to C. I don't think CC fits in many back seats.
No, that's true. That's a good point. That was good.
All right.
That was very good.
609.
You got anything else?
609 403 0973. No, the text board just slowed down, man.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that was it. They had enough. We ran through it, and then people had enough. That was it. Dan is me. Haven't followed wrestling in 20 years. Kevin Nash, Scott Hall were the villains when I last did.
Oh, yeah. Scott Hall. Yeah, I remember him.
Who the hell is that?
Kevin, well, he was part
I
of
remember
he
Kevin
was
Nash.
in that NWO, wasn't he, with Hogan?
I don't know Scott Hall. I
Yeah,
remember
he had
Kevin
the dark
Nash.
hair. He had the dark long hair. Nash was sort of a lighter colored hair. Nash actually played college basketball at the University of Tennessee, I believe. He was like 6'10".
It was huge. I
Yeah.
remember that, but
He would just like
I
step
thought-
over the rope. Remember, like he would like just throw his
But
legs.
he was like a not a fat guy, but he was like a bigger guy, right?
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Was Kevin Nash? He was just some center for the Vols that they would just stick down there.
I want to see if I can find a picture.
Oh my goodness!
But yeah, how about that?
Deshaun Jackson practicing for the second straight day. This is from Tim McManus. There's video out there as well at Tim_McManus.
Mm-hmm.
Little one-handed grab to start things off from Tim's account.
Oh, we got video.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
All right, I'm looking here. I got some YouTube video
Don't
What?
overpay
Oh,
for
shoot.
Adidas.
Ah, come on.
Wiki
I'm
Buy
gonna
is
shut that down.
You got ads playing.
The ads are playing. You gotta skip the ad. Here's Kevin Nash. I'll tweet this out. Kevin Nash, Tennessee Volunteers basketball career. He came in as a 6'7" freshman, and he grew to 6'10" as a sophomore. You talk about shooting up in one off season. He said he was getting letters from every school in the country.
Look at that jersey.
Yeah. Back then, the NCAA had a clause where college coaches could bump into you, and I got bumped into every day. Recruiting was a little different back then. 6'10". Come on, get to the video. This is so slow. Anyway, this is a great radio.
Yeah. Well, I'm
but
just saying.
I'll tweet it out.
Okay, that's fine.
All right.
Scott Hall was Razor Ramon. Is that right?
Was he the same guy?
That's the text.
He
here.
might be, but I'm
Well, then don't you go Razor Ramon? You don't say Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. You say Kevin Nash and Razor Ramon. You shouldn't need another texter to come in and clarify that.
No, but I'm just saying.
Not you. I'm saying the initial texter.
Right, but when he was with Kevin Nash, he was Scott Hall. I think Razor Ramon was another character. He was probably recreated.
Okay. Well, listen.
Yeah.
All I need to know is
You like the Razor Ramon name?
I do.
Yeah.
I'm big time.
Oh, Ramon.
I love Razor Ramon.
Yeah.
609-403-0973 at Harry Mays TU at Shander Shows how you get us tonight. If you have any thoughts on this game, look, I think the biggest thing we've seen for these Thursday night games, I don't know how this overhits. Like, how do they get to 43 points? It's been heavily bet so far. 13,000 bets so far on the total, pardon me, and it hasn't budged. It hasn't moved.
Uh-huh.
Now, again, people are betting heavy on the over.
They're betting the over.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I don't know. They think that San Francisco is going to score 38 points and
San Francisco wants to run the football
and
play
get the
defense,
hell out of there.
Play defense.
Right. And Arizona, look, Arizona doesn't have a running back.
No, they don't.
They just traded for Kenyon Drake.
Right, 2 days ago.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Kyler Murray, as great as he's looked up until last week, that defense in New Orleans is no joke. And Kyler Murray looked like a rookie all of a
He
sudden.
hasn't looked great. I mean,
No, but he's been able to look.
he throws for like 100 yards a game.
But he's a tough out. And my
Oh.
point of it is that Arizona, they got their first win. I think they covered 2 straight weeks at least. That damn dog is
They've actually
running through
got,
everything.
I think they've got 3 wins.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
3 wins, and I think, what are they against the spread? Whatever it is. My point of it is they become a tough out now, and I think they get relegated again. And you see more of the same against the Niners that you saw against the Saints.
What is that crazy noise?
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
No.
Is that the dog's toy?
Nobody else can hear it. It's just Harry, right?
I can hear it. I bet Josh can hear it. The
Josh doesn't even have his headphones on.
Arizona on ATS looks like they're 5-3 against the numbers.
Look at that, 5-3, and they've won 3 games, so they're right.
Yes, and
Look, I would stay away from this 10-point number unless you can tease it or buy it down. Even then, even 7 kind of worries me, just because I don't think that the Niners are going to put up 50. But
no,
43 points where everybody is leading over.
that's where I took last week. I took the Eagles under 43, and it ended at 44.
You got clipped right there at the end, huh?
Well, I mean, you're not counting on a 60-plus yard touchdown run from
Correct.
Miles Sanders in that game, are you?
Correct. No. All right, so look at this real quick, right, as we'll hit the break and get the Sports Bash coming up next. You've got a couple of really big totals and one super low. If you're looking at this from like a fantasy, people build their DFS teams now based off of stacking.
Mm-hmm.
So the easiest thing to do is to find a game in which both teams are expected to score a lot of points, stack the better quarterback and the better wide receiver, and then take a guy on the other team, like a wide receiver. So Detroit-Oakland's at 50.5. That's not even the highest one. The Bucks and Seahawks are at 52.
Wow.
Now that's in Seattle.
Yeah, it is.
I don't like that at all.
I kind of like Tampa that with the number. Seattle's not that great at home this year. They're better on the road.
They are.
They're 4-0 on the road.
Tampa's only getting 5.5.
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah.
I think I like the under more than I do.
New England-Baltimore is probably the game of the week, though, right?
I think so until it becomes disappointing.
Yeah.
I think New England makes that game more disappointing than people want it to be.
Indianapolis at Pittsburgh. favored by a point.
That opened up as a pick'em.
Did it?
And now, the Colts win that game, I think. This is a Colts game. That's a Colts type of game. They want to run the football. They want to play defense, and they're not going to take huge risks on D. It's going to be, they're going to control that game. It's going to be the fastest game of the week by a mile.
Jets -3 at Miami. This
I don't like
is a
that.
huge game
I don't
for
like that at
Adam
all.
Gase.
Look, the Dolphins have been bet down from 6.5 to 3 points as an underdog.
Yeah.
I know the Dolphins are a cover machine, but that's when you've got 12, 14, 17.
Yeah.
It's tough to cover 3 points, man.
Tell ya.
Now look at this one.
Fitz magic.
You've heard it here first, Harry. 81% of the public, only 4,000 bets, 81% of the public on the Browns. They opened up as a 1.5 point favorite. They're now favored, dog. They're now favored by 3.5.
Yeah, against Denver.
Because they think that this kid in Denver is not going to be able to complete a pass.
Yeah,
Look,
yeah.
he doesn't need to. They've got 2 running backs and a defense that's going to destroy Baker Mayfield.
Back after this.
Listen to Mays and Aton.
Broncos right now.
Will you stay focused? Can you focus on something to start today's show? Download the 97.3 ESPN mobile app now. 97.3ESPN.com/app. It's the Thursday night countdown to kickoff. This and every Thursday night with Tony Bruno and Harry Mays.
Mr. Monday Night is here, and no additional charge for you.
From 6 to 8 p.m. live from
I like how they're talking about the Thursday night thing, and the first thing Bruno says is Mr. Monday Night.
Are you ready for this week's Eagles game and more? It's the Thursday night football countdown to kickoff with Tony Bruno and Harry Mays. 6 to 8 p.m. on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile
Oh,
app.
Brandon Allen. I do remember him at Arkansas. Okay, I know who this kid
College
is.
with a huge day on Saturday, pro football on Sunday. Make sure you bet with the best. My guys at the #1 casino in Pennsylvania, Parks Casino and Sportsbook. My guys at Parks Casino and Sportsbook have it all in person or online. Download the Parks Casino Sportsbook app right now in the App Store. Go to parkscasino.com/PA. Use promo code SWEET, SWEEP, SWEET, to get a risk-free bet of up to $250 on your first deposit. Parkscasino.com/PA. Again, PARX, casino.com/PA.
So he actually beat out the kid
code SWEET
from
to get your
Missouri.
risk-free bet
Lock.
up to
Yes, lock.
$250. Parks Casino and
Apparently they don't
My
think
guys,
they
they
play.
should be the guys you trust as well. Place all your favorite sports bets, point spreads, money lines, even line, in-game betting. Sign up now, get a risk-free bet of up to $250 on your first deposit. Promo code SWEET. Get your
You know what?
risk-free
I was
bet
gonna
up to
tease this. I might as well just parlay it, huh?
$250 on the loss is a free bet. You must be in Pennsylvania. You must be
Look at
21.
this.
Every problem, call 1-800.
Well, I mean, it's like,
Home for the holidays with Tom Adams.
if the Bucks are going to cover that spread, I don't, there's not going to be that much difference between 5.5 and 11. Like, if they're going to cover that, they're going to cover it. I like the Broncos +3 outright. The big thing is the number tonight. Like, I could get that to 49 or 49.5 tonight, not 40 straight. Take the under. Right.
Find out why Tom Adams Windows and Carpets has won more national awards in the past 3 years than any other contractor in the tri-state area. Check out their 3 large designer showrooms. Plus, if
No,
you're
that's fine.
measuring, Tom Adams is also offering
it.
12 months
What's on tap for the sports bash
and a
today?
$100 Visa card rebate with purchase. See store for all the details.
Josh?
Hurry in because this free hard service installation sale ends November 13th. Find out more at Tom Adams
Man,
WC.
Falcons outright winner's a loser. Bears to make the playoffs is a loser. Texans to make the playoffs seems like a winner. Cowboys to win the NFC Championship is still not good. But then the Niners thing. Niners to win the West is a winner. Niners to win the NFC Championships at +800. I have that. Man, if they win the Super Bowl, I'll win $900.
Niners.
Yeah, because I'll have them winning the West, and then the championship, and then the Super Bowl. That was all PGF at the beginning of the year.
To store your home, Dry Guys of South Jersey wants to insulate and protect your home all year round. And this family-owned
I got a
business of
good
30
cash
years
out for Anthony
uses over
Davis.
30 patented products and warranties that will eliminate mold. Let Dry Guys solve the problem. Call 844-470-4808.
Almost done, buddy. Almost done.
844-470-4808.
Right? You chewing your snake?
DryGuysOnAir.com.
What?
Take the first step. You'll be glad you did. Go to
Was that a snake?
DryGuysOnAir.com.
Is that a snake? Give me the snake. Give me that snake.
WrestleMania. It's College Game Day, Football Sunday plus Monday Night Football, and a special live NFL Countdown to Kickoff show.
I
with
got-
the Tony Bruno Show every Thursday starting.
I got crushed on this one here. It was like 16 to 30 Cabrera. So I said Carrera on the air last night. I was calling him as Drupal Carrera. The producer's like, no, you called him Carrera. And I'm like, it's Drupal Carrera? You know that clip from Dog? Oh, they have water.
Emax is evolving hot water. Find Emax at distributors or online at emax.com. That's EEMAX.com.
Yeah, it was Entercom, shut it down.
Emax.
A home is more than just four walls and a roof. It's a lifetime of memories and a stable future. Vince Mazzio and John Armato understand that. They know how much seniors depend on stable
Oh no, what's he
homes.
doing? I used to always
They
take
know that for too many seniors, rising property taxes put them at risk. Which is why Vince Mazzio and John Armato work together in the state assembly to freeze property taxes for seniors, making it easier for Atlantic County seniors to stay in their homes. And Mazzio and Armato work to lower the cost of prescription drugs. Vince Mazzio and John Armato are making it easier for families in Atlantic County to meet their monthly budgets. And Mazzio and Armato are making it possible to run back next in Atlantic County with dignity and respect. Which is one more reason you should vote for Vince Mazzio and John Armato.
Paid for by Mazzio and Armato for Assembly. P.O. Box 362, Northfield, New Jersey, 08225.
This is Mays and Aton with Harry Mays and Aton Shander on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app.
All right, our last segment here before the sports bash. Anything else that we didn't get out?
Well, I got a tweet here from Judy T. Says the Road Warriors were some great heels.
Not Mad
Villains.
Max and the Road Warriors.
No, the Road Warrior wrestlers.
Well, that's the original Road Warrior.
Oh, yeah.
It's Mad Max.
Yeah. I like that series of movies.
The
back
only,
in the day.
yeah,
Those were good.
the second one was a little off.
What was that, Thunderdome?
No, Thunderdome was 3. Thunderdome was over the top.
Tina Turner was in that, right?
Yeah, not Mad Mex, which is a Mexican cuisine restaurant that's down the street
Yeah.
from where we are. All right, let's get rid of Fury Road, wherever the hell that is, right? But if you want to look at the actual Mad Max series, all right? Now, the first one
The first one blew my mind.
is Road Warrior.
Yeah.
That's what it was really, and no, second one part of it was Road Warrior. The first one was more like just a completely crazy. It was unlike anything we've seen.
Right, when that came out, that really like it was unprecedented.
Correct.
Yeah. I remember it blew my mind. I was like probably 14 years old.
And I think the second one, this is like one of the rare ones, like Godfather 2, and I'm not comparing the quality of the movie, I'm just saying it's a rare moment in cinema history.
Where the sequel's better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that it doesn't take away from the impact that the first one had by any means.
Who was in the second one? What new, I forget, was there a new actor, a new character that they
Well,
added?
the bad guy was a badass, and this was like the community of settlers that was kind of moving around, and you know, Mel Gibson was kind of like this. He turned into more of like the adventurer helper guy than just like the cop in the first one. And then it gets to Thunderdome, which wasn't a bad movie, but I think at that point you looked around and thought, all right, you know, this thing is pretty much different, you know. No, I need whatever he's got.
This dog can't wait to get into stuff.
Well, you know, at this point,
He's unbelievable.
right.
I'll
So,
tell you.
and then, you know, I don't know what the hell Fury Road or Mad Max 4 was.
I never saw that.
They
Josh, Josh, did you see that?
Charlize Theron should never have been in that.
Wow, she can be in anything.
But I'm saying for her. Now, you did have a couple of interesting actors in this Mad Max 2. Bruce, I mean, these guys are all, you know, Australian, and that's where it was shot. So
Right.
I don't think you'll know them. Like, there wasn't anybody famous, like, oh, by the way, Lloyd Bridges was in that movie.
Not Lloyd Braun.
No, not Lloyd Braun.
Yeah.
Although I did see the Crates episode that was on TV,
yeah?
and Lloyd Bridges, of course, in that.
Yeah. Is that Mandelbaum?
That's
right?
the Mandelbaums.
Yeah.
Exactly
Mandelbaum,
right.
Mandelbaum.
Exactly. You think you're better than me, don't you? All right. Are you going to give out candy tonight?
No.
So-
I'm not going to be home. I'm doing a show.
Oh, that's right. Well, I'm just curious.
I'm at Screwballs from 6 to 8 with Bruno tonight.
So
and
Bruno's
and
in
the coach.
And the coach.
Henry Racich.
We don't know about Blair Thomas yet, but the coach will be there.
He might stop.
I love it, man. That was awesome to have Blair out there. Here's the thing. If you were to only give out, not eat, I'm not asking you your favorite candy.
Reese's peanut butter cup.
I'm not asking you.
All
right? You have to factor that in here, but there's a different approach to this. All right.
Okay.
If you only give out one candy for kids. Now you think of that, 13-year-olds is probably 15-year-olds, they max out, 8-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got one candy, one option to give out to kids. What do you think is the widest net you can cast? To be the most, like, you could only choose one candy to give out to kids tonight. What would it be? Like, what do you think will make the most amount of kids happy with them?
Just like, how about a miniature Hershey's milk chocolate bar?
That's straight.
Okay.
Now that's like taking, that's Floyd Mayweather putting $1 million on minus 1,500.
Right.
Like you just went total chalk.
I did. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
That's how I roll.
Unbelievable.
Except when I take the Nats. All right, Sports Bash is coming up next. And we'll be at Parks Casino tomorrow.
Promo code SWEEP.
The Maze and Eight, a Jacob Media Sports presentation.
Yeah, he shut it down because of that. Damn it.
Okay, right on your way.
All right, BLG's in the house. We'll just promote him.